Welcome, everybody, to episode number 34 of the Dragon's Den podcast. We are live on the air. My name is Eric Hopkins, a.k.a. Jill. Welcome to the show tonight. We're joined tonight by Matthew, who suddenly just disappeared on us, and so Smoobington the third and Miranda Nicole on the bottom right there. How's everybody doing? I guess we'll check in with Matt whenever he does decide to grace us with his presence.
Good.
Yeah, hanging in there. Yeah, everybody have a good Merry Christmas.
I did. You?
Yeah, wasn't too shabby. Just me, my stepmom, and my dad for the most part, but had a good time nonetheless, for sure. Ate too many cookies, that's for sure. I'm sugar comatose right now. But yeah, ready for some healthier eating and maybe some New Year's resolutions to kick in. We'll see if that ends up taking place or not. But yeah.
Do you have any New Year's resolutions? I know it's not New Year's yet.
Well, I think every year it's kind of like lose weight, and then it doesn't happen, things like that. But yeah, that was kind of going to be one of the first things I brought up, actually. If you guys maybe, we thought about kind of, since it's going to be our last podcast before 2025 next Friday, where we thought we'd maybe kind of discuss like stuff from 2024 a little bit, maybe some stuff we hope to see in 2025 when it comes to like movies, pro wrestling, sports, politics by the end of the show, things like that. So did anything you guys set forward to do in 2024, did you guys accomplish? Or can you think of anything off the top of your head? I know a lot of people go into the year with like high expectations of what they're going to do, but doesn't always end up holding to their resolutions. I know I'm one.
Honestly, I mean, we have a lot of things we want to do. But I think literally just, man, for me, living my life, doing me is what I'm focused on.
Living your best life. I hear you, man. Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple. I mean, obviously, like I always said, I'd like to lose a little more weight, get back to more healthy thing. Because obviously, I've had some knee issues. We've all talked about here a little bit, but yeah, things like that. Matt, you got any New Year's resolutions, buddy? Maybe ease off on the Wendy's chili.
Yes,
fat chance that's happening.
That ain't gonna happen.
I kid you not. Look, I'm sure they've sold it in stores many times, but for whatever reason, he come into work today, and he always loves to bring his Wendy's chili, one of his favorite things to eat. No, I'm not begrudging him on that, but he come in today and he set this can down, an unopened can, and I spun it around and it said Wendy's chili on it. Had no clue that they sold it in stores.
Wait, they sold like canned Wendy's chili?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, at Kroger.
So he opened that sucker up, put it in the microwave, heated it up, and I was just like, wow, okay. Even when he doesn't get the real thing from the restaurant, he's got it in can form.
Brother, I had no idea. This is news to me.
You might have a problem, Matt. I'm just saying you might want to seek an intervention.
Yeah,
you know I mean,
tighten it up, champ.
For the first time in a few weeks, Kathy's in the chat. Good to see you, Kathy.
Yeah,
she said, "I did 2024. Doing me was a good thing. So good for you, then. Hopefully, you can continue that in 2025. That'd be a great way to go."
I will say that we do have some plans for our house.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get started on some of these.
My house, they said.
The one thing we did do that we've been talking about doing forever was we somewhat stabilized the fence.
Yes. Loki can't just push it over now.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet that dog just does that constantly.
Loki pushes his way into a lot of things. All right.
Whether it's the neighbors or the deer or the birds, he's trying to get something. So
trying to get away from the cat, most likely.
The cat is lately the cat's been trying to get away from him. Like
the cat, I can't wait to take down the Christmas tree.
Oh my god.
Oh, I imagine.
I've had to pull him out twice and he was in the middle of it. Like just I can't wait.
That's awesome.
I have a video of him in the tree.
She was about to fight him.
Well, before we get too started into tonight's show, speaking of New Year's resolutions, I did have a bit of a New Year's resolution. I'm going to try and adhere to a little bit more this year. So if I do, hopefully you guys will enjoy it. But obviously, like I said, we're saying goodbye to 2024 and hello to 2025. And one of this year's New Year's resolutions, for me at least personally, is to try to do a little bit more here on the channel. Obviously, this year, there's been times I've gotten burnt out by doing too many videos and too many things on the channel because it is a time-consuming effort to sometimes put out good content on YouTube or Rumble or whatever it may be. However, this year, I would like to maybe do a little more than just the podcast, which I love doing, and I hope we continue to do it all through 2025. I think it could be great. But this year, I'm hoping to maybe do a little bit more, if I can get this looking a little bit better Here we go. So I'm hoping to obviously continue with the Dragon's Den podcast a little bit. Gel live stuff is hopefully going to be me doing a little bit more live video content, just myself personally, maybe once or twice a week, or just whenever I can find time. It isn't going to be consistent, like every single week at this time or this date or anything like that. But if there's something to talk about, like what was it? Last week I did my first live solo video talking about Superman 2025, the trailer, which we're going to watch here tonight as well. So look forward to that, because I think there's a few of us here who've not seen it.
Yeah, DC.
Yeah, but there may be some pre-recorded content I'd like to do a little bit more of. But again, I don't want to be like pushing myself to put out videos every single day, because that's when you get burnt out. You just don't want to do it anymore. But one of the things I really want to do this year is more gaming content. I know me, Brandon, Seth, and Aaron, and Matt, especially, and
Yeah,
Brandon,
don't forget Matt.
And me if you play
one.
Minecraft.
Hey, we might do that. Actually,
I know.
We've been floating around this idea of Minecraft that I'll
has been
explain
one we've
later.
been thinking about.
Yeah. But regardless whether it be live or pre-recorded, I would love to do some more gaming videos and maybe even some solo gaming for myself. And if I could talk our fun facts and trivia guru to continue with the wrestling trivia, I'd like to do that at least quarterly or something like that coming into this year. So I would love to do more of this stuff, put it out on Facebook, my X, YouTube, and Rumble, and all this stuff to kind of build the channel. Hopefully, we'll also draw more viewers to the podcast, which is something I think that we kind of centered this whole YouTube channel and Rumble's channel all around. So it's just a way to kind of build our fan base, and hopefully we can do that. So that's kind of my goals for the year. Again, nothing set in stone or anything, but just as much as we can, I'd like to do a little bit more than what I've been currently putting out. So hopefully that'll be great. But yeah, other than that, is there any other stuff that you want to talk about for yourself personally for 2025 before we move on?
I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like, want to do more content stuff. Like, there's stuff I want to do. Like, I want to do some more reaction videos. I really
the Lost Cartel. We need to bring
Yeah.
that back too. Yeah, that's another
I
thing.
want to get that channel going too, with the reaction videos and stuff. Like, we did a couple reaction videos, and I had fun doing them, and I like doing the reaction videos. But like, me and Miranda watch so much other content too that we would love to react to. So like, to bring, for me and her, we'll late night one night do a couple of reaction videos, and just have couples conversations, so to speak, with Aaron and stuff too, with Miranda, and then other content stuff with you. I mean, like, I would love to start a gaming series that we could do, kind of like your real introduction to some of these games would be hilarious.
Yeah, because I'm not the best gamer. Clearly, you'll find out when we do more of these streams.
So yeah, like that to me, like watching a series where you go from like this to a
What are you trying to say?
like, I get it, you know what I mean, and I'm good at it, type shit. But yeah, like,
You've always held the belief if I actually buckled down and continue to practice and do these games more often, I'd probably get pretty good at it. But
yeah,
I'm glad someone's got faith.
Your hand-eye coordination is trash.
Which is why I always say, if we ever do gaming streams, I'd like for you guys to share your screen instead of mine, because mine's just embarrassing. Everybody's gonna be watching and trolling me in the chat.
We were talking about doing this, gaming stuff, and like we talked about doing the Minecraft thing, and I'm like, bro, I remember Miranda's first time playing Minecraft, and it was
It wasn't my first time.
What, that night you were at work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she tells me she was running from something. She didn't have anywhere to go, so she dug a hole in the ground, and she was hiding in there until daytime. And like, I was talking about that today, and I was like, oh no.
She did right.
Aaron goes, what? I go, Eric, he's gonna freak out. I was like, at night, if he spawns and there's nothing around him, he's just gonna hear noises, because that's what you hear at night. Noises.
If I'm wearing headphones where I can't escape that noise, that'd be hilarious. But yeah,
the zombie.
I think the movie trailer. I mean, skeletons and stuff like that. Yeah,
that would be fun, especially to see a lot of the cool Minecraft videos back in the day we used to watch. It was always cool to watch them go from this little mud hut to these big extravagant little towns that they built with their with their friends and communities and stuff like that. Yeah. Minecraft is a really dope game for that that factor, like creation and shit. Like, it's pretty cool. So really hoping that's what the series we decide to start off with, because I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I'm kind of the mind of with those. I'm like when we do them as a group and stuff for the Dragons Den gaming channel or show. I'm totally cool with you guys kind of taking the lead and you guys play what you want. I'm just kind of follow along. You know what I mean?
figured this out.
Well, like you choose what we play, and then
Mhm.
we'll just go from there, and I'll learn it as we go, and that'll be the fun part for me.
Mhm.
But and I'll focus more on the recording of it or the going live and things like that. So,
Mhm. And then
but yeah,
maybe too, we can also bring Miranda out of retirement and play a couple games of Madden.
yeah, if it's Madden, no, I'm gonna school all of y'all.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm
I
not
don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, I've been beat once or twice in my life before. Kathy
I'm
said that
retired
hers
from
not
Madden.
live, but my life, woo! I don't know what the if means, but so, but yeah, that'd be cool to see. You gonna record some content, and put it up on your Facebook and stuff. That'd be sweet.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, like I said, mine may not be always live. I may just put, make some videos and air them to live to where everybody can see them on Facebook and stuff. That may happen, but yeah.
Hey,
Some of them.
Aaron's here.
Oh, I will say, sorry, there's one more thing I really want to do. I really want to start doing some more cooking videos too.
And you're master chef, in my opinion. I
really
never
wanna
leave your house hungry. So
I really want to get back into
Except for me,
some more
I bring
cooking
my own
stuff.
shit.
Yeah, we don't talk about you. Speaking of which, your glasses are at my house, dude. I keep forgetting to bring them to you.
Mine?
Yeah, your sunglasses you wore last time you were here.
well, there's
What are they? What kind?
They're white. I don't know. They're on top of my gaming cabinet.
Are they the iron ones?
Probably, dude.
Why don't
They're
you go
yours.
get them and
I know
find
that.
out.
I didn't even realize they were still up there.
Yeah, they're up there. That's why I keep forgetting about them. But
Alrighty,
yeah,
well, yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, look forward to that in 2025. Hopefully, we'll get some more gaming stuff, and I'll put out some more information maybe on like the community tabs or things like that when you might be able to see release times and stuff. But yeah, we'll keep you all updated for sure. All right, so let's move into some of the main topics for the show. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. Even we've had 2 weeks off since before the Christmas holiday, so let's get things started with a little bit of pro wrestling news.
Boo!
you wild for that. You wild for that.
I swear, I mean, I'm sorry. We're trying to school y'all and to let you guys know, the cool world that is pro wrestling. We got tie into it for a while, but that didn't end up staying the case.
But he started to see the same stuff that like we did. We pointed out to like
he started to see behind the curtain.
Yeah, now that when you pull the curtain away from wrestling, it's kind of hard to really get into it because it's like and it's like
you almost have to. It's like when you go to a movie, you have to suspend disbelief a little bit. When you watch pro wrestling, you have to understand it's a show, and they're trying to tell you stories and things like that. So, hopefully, my internet will hold out. It's a little jumpy. So, am I breaking up to anybody? Just so
No,
you're good right now.
Okay. So if I do, that's probably why. Let me know if you can't hear me or something. All right. So as I said to start out the show, we're talking about 2024, some of our favorite moments, and maybe some stuff we'd like to see in 2025. Some notable moments in the world of pro wrestling in 2024. Obviously, one of the biggest storylines that happened was that obviously at WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes finally finished his story and was able to secure the WWE Championship that his father Dusty Rhodes never got to hold. So I thought that was a great storyline, and we had a bunch of others as well, including Bryan Danielson winning the AEW World Championship during his final run with the company. And of course, he subsequently ended up retiring about a couple months later after a small run. Speaking of retiring, our childhood officially ended, most of us here, with the retirement of Sting, who was basically one of the last great pro wrestlers from back in the 80s and 90s and things like that. So, again, I thought it was very well done with his sons who got to dress up as some of his alter egos and some of the different versions as in his retirement match here at AEW Revolution this year. So very well done. And of course, we saw the breakup of the New Day this year, which was just within the last few weeks or so. It wasn't too long ago. But again, something that's kind of been spanning a decade, finally coming to a close here in 2024. And speaking of childhoods ending, in many kids' cases, their childhood hero was John Cena, who announced his retirement after his final run in 2025. So his farewell tour is just about to begin here with the new year kicking off. And it sounds like he's going to get maybe one good solid year left with the company before he finally hangs up the boots, as it were, as he brought out this towel that says the last time is indeed now. So yeah. Any other 2024 thoughts in pro wrestling that maybe that you can think of, or this kind of some of the highlights that I pulled pretty well, I guess here.
Go ahead.
Brandon, go ahead.
The only other thing I think for me that was significant in wrestling, that was a huge deal, whether you like it or not, CM Punk coming back to
Well,
WWE.
2023, but yes.
Yeah, 2023. But like his real like push really didn't like seeing him there now still and doing what they're doing with these guys now. I guess what I want to see is the storytelling we've been getting since 2020 with the whole bloodline thing and like how that all kicked off. Like,
it's been around in there, yeah. I think it was during the pandemic, yeah.
I want that to continue. You know what I mean? Like I want to see, because like, come on, dude, for a huge part of hell, even till now, it's still the way it's been interwoven with so many other storylines to kind of lock this whole overarching theme into it is kind of amazing. So like I would love to see more of that. And when I say that, I mean through all wrestling. Like I want wrestling to succeed for everybody.
I agree with that. We're going to get into that here in a minute too.
I guess that would be my hope for wrestling in 2025 is more of that.
Yeah, I don't.
It makes it more watchable. Like hell, Miranda tuned in for a lot of it, which was cool to see. Now look at it. Like you take Solo, a guy who was like he didn't say nothing for like the first 2 years that he was there.
Yeah.
Now he's a star. You know what I mean? And then they did this like with Tamatonga Tangaloa's got his own thing going on, but Jacob Fatu out of nowhere, and now he's, you know what I mean?
And hopefully he'll start talking more, moving forward too, and he can.
What they did with the Usos, I said this the other day too. Like Jay has become a huge megastar because of this whole thing, and Jimmy, even, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that.
I can agree with that. As for me personally, in 2025, one of the things obviously I'm excited about is the fact that I am going to Royal Rumble in Indianapolis live and in person on February 1st. So obviously, that's a big deal for me, and I wish everybody could go with me, but unfortunately, that's not always going to be the case. But at the same time, yeah, this is one of the biggest events, and it's probably my favorite match in professional wrestling, Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
That's the match that made me a fan. It's the match that I'll probably never get to see live ever again after this the February 1st. So I'm excited to go check it out. Once in a lifetime.
I wouldn't say that, Eric.
Well, I'll see the match again, but not live, because this is the first time this event has ever come to my local state.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact, if I was to have to go see it again, I have to travel for it, and I'm probably not gonna be able to afford to do that. So to me, this is kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity, because it may never come back around again. This particular event. So now obviously there'll be other events. There'll be WrestleManias and other, Raws and SmackDowns and Dynamites and things like that I'll get to go to for sure. But this is a big show, and it's probably one of the bigger ones, and hopefully I'll get to go to WrestleMania too. But speaking of that, in 2025, also WrestleMania 41 will be emanating from Las Vegas, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium on Easter weekend, which I'm still a little bummed about, because it's like some people celebrate Easter, and I actually travel and do the whole church thing and stuff like that for Easter and stuff. So it's a little harder to kind of get together for a WrestleMania show if I'm traveling, for the holiday. So I kind of hate that ended up being the case this year, but hopefully that won't become a thing. Maybe it's more that Easter kind of just fell on the weekend this time. But yes, that's kind of a bummer for sure. And of course, WWE's got a big thing coming up in just about a week's time or so. And that is, of course, Raw will be moving to Netflix on January 6th. And it'll be headlined by the main event of CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. So that could be a good start to that new era over there on Netflix as well. Are you excited for WWE Raw moving to Netflix and maybe some other things like on the network or whatnot?
So like we watched the New Year's Jesus. We watched the Christmas football on there. And I will say it ran a lot smoother than that fight did. And I said this to Miranda then. Ain't no way in hell that fight should have ran the way it did. Like, if they're able to pull this off, and I promise you more people are tuned in to watch football than they are for that fight, then there was something up with that whole situation.
Mhm.
Well, you gotta understand too with the Tyson Jake Paul fight, it was the first live stream sports event that Netflix had tried to pull off.
Yeah, but they've
So
pulled off other live events on Netflix though,
they may have, I
comedy
don't know,
specials
but
and stuff like that too.
that's true.
So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
At least it seems like they had the bugs worked out for the NFL because apparently we'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but the NFL had huge numbers for those Netflix games
Yeah.
for sure. Actually, I think I
Mhm.
forgot to put it in here, so I'll just mention it now. I think they had like something of like 24, 25 million per game, like over 60 some million overall. So
Mm.
those are huge numbers. So good for Netflix in that regard. It'll probably hopefully bode well for WWE as well when they move over to that network. But
To
for
piggy-
now,
To
go ahead.
piggyback on what I was going to say about with Brandon, do you guys feel like that wrestling is better now with Hunter running it than when Vince was running it?
So here's the
Absolutely.
thing. So like, but look, we say that, but it's not like Vince wasn't capable of doing it before. I don't know what
Right.
transpired. I don't know what changed. I have no idea. But we also understand it too. Like Triple H is a student of the game. He learned a lot of how to run that from Vince.
Right.
But he put his own spin on it. The way he ran NXT is what gave NXT its mystique and prestige, and which turned it from a developmental show to, I mean, one of the top 3 in wrestling. So like him having the reins now, I guess like does it make it better? It makes it more coherent. Does that make sense?
That's for
Like,
sure. It's a good word, coherent.
yeah, it
Yeah.
makes it more coherent.
Things make sense.
Yeah, it has like, it's like there's more stability and not random chaos that it was before.
Imagine watching a movie where it's got plot hole after plot hole and nothing connects in the
Mhm.
story. That's the way
Yeah.
it was watching WWE under Vince McMahon at times. You know,
And
because they
nothing,
would book
and
it,
a lot of
you
things
know,
never had an end, never had
yeah,
a
like
bookend
like
to it.
like
just
they would
stopped.
like tear up the script like hours before the show started, rewrite it, and then next week forgot what they did the week before. You know, stuff like that. It just made it very hard to watch. So in my
You get
opinion, yeah.
promos like suffering succotash and
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Hey, Mike's jumping in real quick here. He says, "Hey, gang, not going to stay on. Just got home from more Christmas going on. Hopefully, everyone had a great Christmas. We did,
we
Mike. Thank
did.
you very
We
much.
did.
Wish you could stay a little longer, but we totally get that too. I mean, Christmas is
Mhm.
an ever revolving thing here in December for sure. So we got
Mhm.
more to do, but yeah, hopefully you can come back maybe next week. So yeah. But when it comes to WWE, though, right now they're kind of in a bit of a holding pattern until January 6th when Raw
Mhm.
debuts on Netflix, which is kind of par for the course for WWE for the most part in the month of December, especially around the Christmas and New Year's holiday. However, AEW is in the news, and of course, one of those things is for AEW and their show that I'm looking forward to in 2025, and that is all in Texas, in Arlington, Texas, at Globe Life Field. Now, before I start this rant, let me be clear on something, though. I love WWE and I love AEW. I love pro wrestling in all of its wacky forms. So keep that in mind as I'm about to go into this little bit of a rant here. The reason why I'm bringing this AEW stuff up right now is because like people like Eric Bischoff fans or Jim Cornette fans or just WWE Federation fans were trying to dunk on AEW this week after AEW released the first count numbers for tickets already sold for their upcoming July show All In Texas, which is their WrestleMania, admittingly. The Shills are trying to say that the 10,000 seats that they sold is a low number. But 10,000 tickets sold, which is more than half of the 18,000 seat setup, 7 months out from the event in July, is actually a very good number for any company. Now, is the number down from the previous 2 years at All In? Yes. It was also in another country in England, and this is in the United States. But it's also a much smaller venue compared to Wembley Stadium as well. I'm sure by the time this show happens in July, they'll easily be in the 20 to 30,000 range, and they'll probably open up some more seating and things like that. But if not, it's still not bad. Because remember, many people forget that WrestleMania also didn't always have massive crowds too, especially when the company was just starting out. So if you look at this graphic here, I'm showing you here, this is the first 5 WrestleManias. And if you combine the attendances of WrestleMania 2, 11 of the first 15 WrestleManias were near 20,000 in attendance. So I mean, it's not much different than going from an 82,000 seat arena like in Wembley for All In to come down to a 20,000 seat stadium, baseball stadium at All In, Texas. Obviously, if you look at all these like WrestleMania 7, let's see, let's go back here. Let's look at the WrestleMania 2. Like, if you combine that, it's probably about 40,000. You got WrestleMania 3 at 93,000, which is, again, kind of debatable at this point. That number's always been in flux. But then WrestleMania 4 at Trump Plaza, as a matter of fact, 4 and 5, 20,000. And then WrestleMania 7, 16,000. WrestleMania 9, 16,000. WrestleMania 10, almost 20,000. WrestleMania 11, 16, 12, 18,000. WrestleMania 13, 18,000. You get the picture here. Nothing like, the big football stadiums that they are so used to these days. So again, 11 of the first 15 WrestleManias were near that attendance. So, but these AEW haters out there want to proclaim that AEW All In has gone from the 82,000 arena or the big stadium to 20,000 in a year or two, and they use that as some sort of victory lap. But if you look at WrestleMania 3, the 93,000, and then it falls off the following year to 20,000, does that mean that WWE is going out of business? I mean, back when they were starting out like that, it was perfectly fine. So it just goes to show that WWE is not finished or in the mud, just like AEW isn't either. AEW is just fine. Is it perfect? No. But guess what? Neither is WWE. Every show can improve, including WWE. Last week's SmackDown didn't have a whole lot of anything relevant on the show, and this week's episode of Raw was kind of boring. But that's kind of to be expected around the holidays, as I mentioned. It's kind of par for the course. Now, it's also worth interesting, too. Did you know, this is a fun fact, and Mike might be proud of this one. In 1994 and 1995, WWE were literally taping Monday Night Raw in high school gymnasiums because they were having a hard time filling arenas. So these things just kind of have ebbs and flows. I mean, this is how a lot of these AEW fans look online when they're kind of trying to trash the company just for no reason. I mean, it's just this is how you look to sane people, especially. You're like, great guy, no problem. But the tribalism just needs to stop. And to be clear, that goes for both sides, AEW fans too. But I know I'm preaching to the brick wall when it comes to the internet wrestling community for sure. Any thoughts on that, Brandon, when it comes to hatred?
Good luck on that, dude. Everybody has, it is what it is. Wrestling shouldn't be divisive, but it is by nature. I mean, like, there is always going to be somebody's going to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And with wrestling, it's stupid because, like, the goal is for everybody to be successful. You know what I mean? I will say I have noticed Ricochet ain't holding back on X. Like,
no. Well, I think it's part of his new character too. He's got
that too, but at the same time, it's like, wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I get it, people. But then, like, when that spills over to, like, they're chanting for his fiance or wife now. Is it his wife now?
Yeah. Not positive, but Samantha Irvin is no longer with WWE. Yes.
Yeah, but now they're chanting her name. Like, man, he's a phenomenal athlete. No one can take that away from him.
My favorite thing this week on Dynamite, he was wrestling Darby Allin, I think, and Ricochet. They were tied up in a quarter with Darby, and Ricochet kind of was complaining to the ref. He pulled my hair, but
that was
Ricochet Ricochet's bald. So it's hilarious when he goes to the referee and says that. So I thought that was hilarious.
That shit's funny, but yeah, tribalism is tribalism. It is what it is.
Yeah, and to follow up on that a little bit, though, also this week is going to mark the final episode of AEW Rampage, which airs tonight during the podcast. It's starting right now, as a matter of fact. But don't leave yet. We're not done with the show. So it'll be bringing the 1 hour third show for AEW to a close. And, of course, all the AEW haters got online and found the opportunity to jump on the hate train with dancing memes and gloating and talking about how, why is AEW canceling shows? I thought they were profitable, though. But, well, throughout the years, WWE has canceled many unsuccessful shows as well. It doesn't mean the company's done. I mean, here's a list of all the shows that WWE has canceled throughout the years. I mean, like Sunday Night Heat, ECW, or their remake of it, 205 Live, Velocity, Shotgun Saturday Night, Superstars, Wrestling Challenge, Primetime Wrestling, and many, many more. Shoot, just this week alone, NXT Level Up, while WWE fans were dancing on Rampage's grave, also got canceled this week and was rebranded as WWE LFG, which stands for Legends and Future Greats, which will be premiering early on in 2025. Not only that, also this week, while the AEW haters were dancing online, WWE quietly canceled their tribute to the Troop Show this year and for the near future, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. So I guess WWE is finished then. If all these shows went under, they can no longer, turn a profit and no longer be successful. So
Yes.
again,
And
yeah.
And they hate the troops.
yeah. You guys support the troops or not? I mean, come on. But no, WWE has always done great things for the troops, no doubt about it. I think they signed.
Out of all the things, canceling stuff for the troops is not the way to go.
And I think it's more. I don't know why, but I don't think it's like anything like that drastic. But they probably canceled it for either scheduling reasons or what the state of what's going on right now.
Well, Dave Meltzer said that they said the company had what they said, quote, too many other things going on. So take that for what you will. You could say that's an excuse or, whatnot, but it is kind of sad to see because the Tribute to the Troop show was one of the better shows. And now in recent years, it's not been as well, received as much on television as it used to, but when they used to go over to Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff, it was absolutely something to watch for sure.
Yeah, it was crazy. Some of the shit they would get into, like you hear the stories of like getting on the base and them being all dressed in full body armor and all this other shit. Like, it was nuts.
Just real quick, Mike said, exhausted and hitting the sack. May you all have a safe and happy new year, and may 2025 bring you all you hope for. Good night and God bless. Thanks, Mike. See you next week, probably most likely. It's also worth mentioning too, with the end of AEW Rampage, that also means that now that Rampage is canceled, Rampage has officially lasted longer than WCW Thunder back in the day. With
Thunder was absolute trash. Nobody should ever talk about that show.
I don't disagree with you, but that also brings into the focus that the fact that Dynamite is also set to surpass WCW Nitro in 2025, I believe. So, again, that's just a good sonic success for AEW. These same people who love to rip on AEW for their cancellations and ticket sales also love to rip on them for their lower ratings as of late. But then this week before Christmas on Saturday, Collision had its third highest rating in its existence for their Christmas Collision show, marking the highest rating it's had in all of 2024, while the show emanated from the legendary Hammerstein Ballroom, and it was absolute crickets from their critics when that happened. So, again, it kind of just happens when it suits your narrative. Kind of like in politics. It feels like wrestling can be very divisive, like politics can be for sure. But not to mention, Variety also ran their list of top deal makers in 2024 list, and Tony Khan made the list as AEW has now been valued at more than $2 billion, the third most valuable combat sports company in the world, behind only UFC and WWE, I believe. So, again, they're successful. Everybody needs to calm down. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. But again, it's just that, like Brandon said, the tribalistic nature of it just really needs to end, no doubt about it. I mean, I could sit here all day and find something to rip on WWE for. Oh, sorry, right picture. This is for those of you who haven't seen this. This is CM Punk running out, to a ring to help save Damian Priest from the Judgment Day. And here he is running out in a shower cap and towel. But again, this is just good old-fashioned fun, especially since this is at a house show, which are known to obviously be more, laid back when it comes to their seriousness. So I have no problem with this. But again, if AEW had done this, it probably would have got ripped on by the internet.
The argument would have been this wasn't at a house show, this would have been on TV. Now, granted, saying that, WWE has put out a lot of weird shit on TV. Mae Young gave birth to a hand. That happened.
Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
They chopped off Val Venus's pee-pee. That happened.
Okay.
What was the other thing? They did. Mae Young gave birth to a hand.
I remember.
Chopped off.
You don't forget that stuff.
Brother, I was just talking to Miranda about this yesterday. I was listening to a podcast, and they were doing WWF at the time Christmas show. It's the same show that Jericho defended the Undisputed Universe, like when he united the titles. It was him, Kurt Angle, and The Rock in a triple threat. Earlier in the day, they had this whole Christmas party thing where Ric Flair was half owner and Vince was half owner. They had two separate parties going on.
Okay.
The goofiest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
I remember it, and I'm like, yeah, this shit was on TV. Tori Wilson and what's her name had a wrestling match in a pool full of eggnog.
Yeah.
That shit on TV.
I mean, wrestling is just goofy in general. It's wacky. That's what it's supposed to be. I mean, yeah, it doesn't always, a lot of times we prefer like the serious, feuds, like a real fight would be. But stuff like this, I have no personal problem with, house show or on television or not. I had no problem with the Elite running out and dressed as the Ghostbusters on Halloween on Dynamite either. But this got completely destroyed by the internet. But again, it just depends on which narrative you want to follow here or which company you prefer. And I just don't think that's the way it should be.
But Eric, that's because if you do anything fun in today's culture,
it's got to be criticized.
It's got to be criticized, and it's why nobody does anything fun anymore.
Yeah,
it's gonna get shit on.
Yeah,
and it's sad.
Yeah, I agree with you. But again, I'm just having a little bit of fun here. I'm not like trying to poke fun at WWE. Hell, AEW did an orange mimosa match with Jericho and Orange Cassidy. They had to dunk each other in an orange tank. So, I mean, there are stupid stuff in both companies. But my point is, I mean, we can all enjoy wrestling and celebrate their victories of each company without tearing the other company down. I just have never seen more hate-driven agenda than the AEW anti-AEW agenda. Even when they do things right, they seem to be wrong. But just wanting a company who helps the wrestlers and the wrestling business to fail for no good reason is asinine, in my opinion. But at the same time, like Brandon said, tribalism, it's like Marvel or DC, Star Wars or Star Trek, Republican, Democrat, or Taylor Swift and bashing my head into a wall. I hate to say it, the last one is a little bit less painful for me. So
crazy word.
You know what I mean? It's just fun. But,
her music makes people do that.
Bash their heads into the wall?
Headbangers. You ever heard of Headbangers Ball?
Oh, brother.
It's a whole different thing. But with that being said, all that it kind of led to this. AEW World's End is a pay-per-view that is taking place this Saturday here on the pay-per-view networks out there, wherever you can find it on. I don't think it's on BR Live anymore. Maybe it's on the Fight app or things like that.
I think so.
But I thought we'd do a quick little preview of these matches here. We got John Moxley, Hangman, Adam Page, Orange Cassidy, and Jay White for the AEW World Championship. We've got the semifinals and the finals of the Continental Classic with Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, Kazuchika Okada, and Ricochet in the final four for that, for the Continental Championship. We've also got the TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander in their second fight. The AEW International Championship, Konosuke Takeshita versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And a Tijuana street fight with Mariah May defending her Women's World Championship against Thunder Rosa. And MJF versus Adam Cole for the AEW Dynamite ring. Thoughts on this pay-per-view at all, Brandon?
Honestly, I want this whole, and I'm being so for real when I say this, I want this whole MJF and Cole thing done.
It has been a year now.
So disjointed and weird the way this whole thing ended. And I know it's because due to injury, this, that, and the third. It was weird. Like
it's like they wanted to pay it off finally, but it's like it's been a year now. It feels a little weird. I agree, but at the same time, I give him credit for at least wanting to try to wrap it up, but it's different.
I want that to be done. I'm excited for this Hobbs and Takeshita. I'm not even.
Yeah, Takeshita, you got it right. Yeah.
Because I like Hobbs a lot, but I also like Takeshita a lot too. So like, I hope they both get a major push out of this. Kyle Ospreay, Will Fletcher, Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
that should be good.
I had a banger of a match on Dynamite a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
absolutely outstanding. Oh, was it out of the pay-per-view? One of the two. But anyway,
look, I'll get back to that in a second. Mox isn't losing, but it should be all right.
Depends on where they take the story. I think in that one, that's going to matter the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also another thing too. Like that story is fucking weird because
it's got to go somewhere. It ain't really done it for me yet.
That's what I'm saying. Like the premise of it hasn't. Look, the angle with Roman was he was tired of being a whooping boy, essentially. So when he came back, he just took matters into his own fucking hands, a la you got the bloodline. That whole story turned to him. We watched him manipulate his two cousins for years until they finally snapped out of it. Now it's him coming back, but he doesn't realize that he's the issue. So he doesn't change anything he fucking does, but yet people are still willing to give him the grace of like, okay, maybe we can fix this, or maybe he's learned, and it's clear that he fucking hasn't. But now you bring in a new element of people who are like, how the fuck you can't see this? This story here with these guys. His whole argument is he's trying to bring AEW to a certain level, and like, but there's his opposition doesn't make sense in the sense of like, what are you all fighting for? Because he hasn't given you a reason for anything to fight other than him staring down a couple people and swinging on some folks. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I think a lot of it is the way he's going about it, and trying to destroy the company that they are. But I see your point. Where if he's trying to make it better, why do you got a problem with him? But at the same time, I think it's how he's doing it.
But it's also if he's destroying the company, you're not really, because you haven't done anything to destroy the company. You get what I'm saying? You're the champion. Like, and if you're the one putting the company on your back, but you haven't done anything to either. You get what I mean? Like, there's no. So, like, I'm hoping that gets ironed out and then it goes somewhere and turns into something.
I don't disagree with you there. I mean, even in the promos, like for the show, they're talking about how you can't create a better world until you end the old one. Ties into the name of the pay-per-view, which is great. But again, you've got to do something storyline-wise to make that make sense.
Yes.
So I agree with you there. It does. They definitely have to do something with their biggest storyline they got going. Right now, it just kind of feels like they're beating up people. Great. But,
That's okay, cool. Like, I'll give you, yeah, you get what I mean.
Yeah, you're
like Monet and Chris,
who had a banger match last time, so they're running it back. So again, nothing wrong with that.
Thunder Rosa, I've always enjoyed Thunder Rosa, so I'm hoping that's good.
The one I'm really surprised it's not on this list yet, unless it got announced today and I didn't see it. But this is only 8 matches for AEW. Anybody who watches AEW for any period of time on their pay-per-views knows that their pay-per-views never have just 8 matches. So either they're taking the criticism to heart and kind of scaling down their pay-per-view a little bit, or they're going to announce some matches like day of, which would be weird. Yeah. But the one match I don't understand why it's not on this show yet, unless it's going to be on like next week's debut of Dynamite on Max simultaneously as TBS or whatever, is the Swerve Strickland and Bobby Lashley match that they've been building up. Why is it not?
Maybe they're still building that. There's other avenues you can take with that to actually make it, something. Like even with that, their interaction with Ricochet was fucking weird. Like,
oh, well, they're playing off something there with the Hurt Business a little bit too. Like they gave him a card and they ripped it up. Yeah,
that's okay. And then this whole Ricochet and Okada thing. Here's the thing. The thing I used to love about Okada was he was, I don't know, he was something otherworldly in
he had an aura in New Japan.
And then like now his thing is he flips people off and he calls them a bitch.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I find it highly entertaining, but there is something missing a little bit. You're not wrong. I think it's kind of coming back a little bit.
Like, when he showed up like the first couple times before he actually signed with them, just showed up to help Kenny or whatever it was. Like it was like it's fucking Okada. Like everybody lost their shit.
He wasn't there all the time.
But like now that he's there all the time, like where did that go?
Yeah,
like
I don't
this was
disagree
one
with
of
you.
the biggest acquisitions from New Japan at the time.
Him and Will Ospreay both. Will Ospreay's having banger matches, but I mean, but at the same time, it's like he doesn't have that same aura. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I want out of next year's wrestling is consistency.
I agree. Yeah, I'll disagree with that.
Give me something to sink my teeth into, like what they did with as short-lived as it was with Hangman and Strickland. That whole story it escalated. It got crazy as shit, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
But then, like after that, there was like really nothing. There's nothing. This whole thing, this 4-way should be way bigger than it currently is.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Storyline wise.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If there's one criticism I could give on Tony Khan, there's probably a lot of people think there's a bunch of them out there. But at the same time, I think he books great wrestling matches. It's the storytelling that sometimes that kind of takes a bit of a back seat sometimes. Hopefully that can improve. I think that's where AEW can improve the most in 2025. WWE, I think their storylines are pretty decent sometimes. And sometimes it's their in-ring stuff that's not always the greatest, in my personal opinion. I do think AEW has the better wrestling, but I think WWE has the better ring psychology, if that makes any sense. I think Brandon could probably agree with that. So
yeah.
All right, well, we can move on from pro wrestling. I don't want to linger here too long, but I just thought we'd talk about that just a little bit here. So, all right, well, you guys got anything else to add to that?
No, I'm good.
Matt, you've been so helpful, brother. I appreciate it.
No, I mean, like wrestling is one of those things for me. Like,
thanks for sticking in there.
It's a thing, it's something that I used to look forward to, but then like, if it's nothing to get me into it, I'm not going to get into it. and that's lately what it's been. And like, sure, if you want to watch the high spots and all that, fine, I'll watch an AEW, but like, it's not for the stories. I'll tell you that much.
It's more like had Darby Allin kill himself again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's
And
just
like,
poor guy.
and that's getting increasingly harder to watch.
Yeah, it's just more like, oh, just cringe
Like,
at some point.
Miranda,
You know what's got to be hurt.
There's a reason why she doesn't like ladder matches. Well, there's two reasons why she doesn't like ladder matches.
Slow climbing, you know.
Slow climbing takes her out every time.
Yeah,
every
I
time.
get that.
But it's the bumps. She hates that. Like she
Oh,
hates watching crazy.
It's all about that shock factor, but it's not safe.
Yeah, but the unnecessariness of it. So like for that reason, she has a hard time watching AEW. It's not that she wouldn't watch it. Not that she can't appreciate the talent. It's just like those bumps are just fucking insane.
Yeah, like I don't like watching people damn near kill themselves just for the kicks.
For the applause,
for the lulls, yeah.
For the claps. Crazy.
Let's get into a few things that to me we could get a little bit more investment for the rest of the pedal here a little bit, because I know wrestling ain't everybody's cup of tea. It's a bit of a niche audience. But let's get into some movie news. All right, to sort of start off the movie news portion of the show, again, just the best and worst of 2024. Anybody got a favorite movie of the year so far, or anything you've seen, or anything that might kind of pique your interest, and maybe something bad that you've seen over the course of the last 12 months?
These last couple superhero movies have been ass.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is probably, and I'm going to get into that in just a second here a little bit. We're going to talk about it now. This is probably the worst year for comic book films that I can remember since maybe 2009 when there weren't any. So yeah, this is just and this doesn't include.
And this right here,
yeah,
is the truth. Wolverine and Deadpool was probably the best superhero movie we've seen this year.
Yeah, it was the only one that Marvel Studios put out. That was part of it. But yeah, everything else was, 3 Sony movies, which we talked about a couple weeks ago about how they're basically putting a pause on their Sony Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man in it. Then obviously the sequel to Joker, Fully Undo, kind of felt, down to the wayside. Did not live up to the $1 billion moneymaker that the first film did, because obviously the second one was basically a musical, from what I understand. I've yet to see it. Then, of course, The Crow, which I completely always forget it's a comic book adaptation. And this list doesn't even include the Hellboy movie that was released this year. And it was pretty well trashed, too. So I think the general consensus is that comic book movies were not good in 2024.
And it's because sometimes leave shit alone. Like, you did not need to do another Hellboy movie. You could have made hell. I'll tell you right, you could have made Hellboy into a series, like a TV series.
TV series might have actually worked.
Yeah. The Crow, same thing. The first Crow was good because of who was in it in the story that was told. It was the original fucking story. It was dope. It was great. The visual.
Who was in it?
Brandon Lee.
Yeah, who died.
I don't know who that is.
Bruce Lee's son.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Did he take a bullet? Was it a bullet?
Time out.
Wait.
Hold on a second. Everybody shut up. What did you just say, Aaron?
Oh, Bruce Lee. Okay.
Oh, no, damn that, big dog. Did you just say you didn't know who that was?
No, hold on a second. You
didn't know who Bruce Lee was or Brandon Lee?
Sorry, I'm heavily medicated right now. So.
Wait, whoa. Is this Benedict?
Oh, sweet.
No.
Oh, damn.
It's a mixture of a few things.
Take some more Robitussin before we get to politics, please.
We got cocktail Aaron. This is gonna be great.
Oh, great. So that's probably why I'm sniffling.
Matt can be on Mucinex and he can be on Robitussin. So
that's wild.
Great.
So
great.
But yeah, the first Crow movie was fucking amazing for what it was, because it was a movie. Like, just leave certain shit alone. I'm upset about Craven shit though, because like Craven is pretty like.
And from all accounts, some people say it's actually not that bad. It's just that critics trashed it. It's actually got a decent audience rating from last I checked, but yeah,
it just sucks because like that movie you want to do good because it's introducing a pretty cool fucking character.
Yeah,
but then like when it's ass, it's like ugh, and it kind of sullies the character. You know what I mean? It's like
like Craven.
Yeah. I mean, Sony's big problem we talked about 2 weeks ago is basically not having your central core character in said films of Spider-Man. So that's the
Adam
biggest
Webb
mistake.
had 11%.
Oh yeah,
I
it
heard
was
I didn't see Venom, but I
Wow,
heard
that-
it was bad.
pretty bad. Which it sounds like you're not going to be missing much anyway. The Venom, if you're into Venom at all, I at least recommend checking out the final entry.
See,
Oh,
me and Randa,
it was okay.
wow, it's
we
41.
heard a criticism from the Venom movie from a pretty Venom fan, and he was
I know
pretty
who you're
upset
talking
about
about. He didn't care for it.
Which one? No, I'm talking about
Want it work?
oh no,
Oh,
he was
okay.
upset about that too.
I'd ask him about that. I never.
Yeah, he was not okay with it
big
either.
Venom fan we work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a YouTuber that we watched. We watched him build this house and
That's
shit. It was pretty
crazy.
cool. But anyway, he's a huge Venom fan, and he had all the guys over, and they were watching it, and he said it was pretty fucking shit, and like he was pretty upset about it.
It was not as good as the first. The first was the best one. Second one started to take a bit of a dip. The third one kind of went a little bit too corny at times.
Listen, it's what Deadpool said in Deadpool 2. He
Diminishing
said,
returns.
yeah,
A little bit.
He called it out there.
Which is funny because, in my opinion, Deadpool and Wolverine's the best of the Deadpool movies, in my opinion. Part of it's due to Hugh Jackman also being in it as well. And if you can't tell by watching me on my channel, I think Deadpool and Wolverine was the best movie of the year, personally. Yeah. But there's other ones I've not yet seen yet, so that's partially on me. I haven't been keeping up with it as much as I used to. Something I also like to change.
And I say, some movies you should leave alone. Now we've got 1,000 Transformer movies, but I heard one was actually really good.
It made no money at the box office, but I heard it was good.
Yeah. I didn't see Beetlejuice, kind of for the same reasons. It was a good movie to begin with. Like we didn't have to, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like leave some shit alone. And I said that about that Beetlejuice movie when we first reviewed the trailer. I said some shit you should just leave alone.
And maybe it was good I hadn't seen it either, but I would say the counter argument to that is I used to say the same thing about maybe you should do another Top Gun movie, and Top Gun Maverick was outstanding. So
yeah, but Top Gun Maverick, it had like, the original character in it, the guy who played in the first fucking one. They had a lot of them in there.
Well, so did Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton's played Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
but I see what you're saying.
It doesn't have the same luster, dude. Like it doesn't have the same.
Why don't we just leave society out of movies?
But then Gladiator 2 should have been great, but it was.
I heard it wasn't bad, but it probably didn't.
Wasn't good either.
Well, yeah. Well, no, that like Top Gun Maverick, it's like it caught lightning in a bottle. That's the exception to the rule. That don't happen like 30 years later most of the time.
Yeah.
So hopefully they don't screw up Top Gun 3.
Did not see Inside Out 2, but I did like the first Inside Out. I thought that was
they say Inside Out 2 was really good, so that's a good success. Dude, Part 2 was good. One of my favorite.
Yeah, I heard that was good. I know the Smile 2.
Yeah.
Was
those
good.
Creep me out. I can't watch.
Yeah, I can't watch those kind of movies. I like horror movies and I like psychological thrillers, but these motherfuckers are too close to home, and I'm good.
Aaron, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, go ahead.
Aaron, are you there?
Aaron don't watch movies.
Yeah.
We had this conversation about this a couple of weeks ago at work. I think it was you.
Probably not.
And it was, anyways, it was about The Empire Strikes Back in Star Wars.
This is y'all.
And we both decided, Brandon, let me get my point across.
Hey, this is y'all. This is y'all.
Okay.
Get there.
Well, I'm just saying, most times movie franchises, when they hit with the first movie, they generally don't hit with the second one. And Empire Strikes Back is, I think, an exception to that.
It kind of started that blockbuster era where if it hits, we're getting more.
Everyone's going, okay, well, if one succeeded, we can do two. And I really haven't seen a whole lot of success since the 80s and the 90s of that.
I don't want to go that far.
Well, hold on. Here's the thing. I think
I'll give you a good example.
Okay.
I'll give you a good example. Sorry, Brandon. I'll let you finish for a second. But John Wick.
John Wick is different.
But wait, hold on, wait. That's to my point. I think it also depends on the genre of movie, because some of my favorite movies, comedy movies like Friday, like that. There's 3 of those, and they were all funny in their own right for different reasons. So they were all good for different reasons.
Yeah,
I think that's the goal. But sometimes what they end up doing is they try to way too much to recreate what they got in the first one into the second one, but give the second one its own little, and it doesn't work.
or they're trying to do the same thing the first one did, and they're being too safe and not taking a risk, so not to screw up the sequel.
So then it just, but
and
then
it screws up the sequel.
Movie,
right. But it's a fine line. You got to try something new, but also stay true to what made it work. So I get why there's a hard time. It's really hard to make a good movie, in today's world, especially with all the criticisms and everything gets. But some of it just has to do with just don't try to push certain agendas in our face. That helps too.
Like I said, that's one thing I wish we get back to with movies and comedy all together.
Just get back to originals.
Get back to like legit just making fun of everybody, shitting on everything.
It's slowly coming back.
Yeah.
Make it entertaining. I mean, shit. Like,
yeah, but Eric,
again, we had
too slow.
We had this conversation at work. There should be no reason why you shouldn't. And I get all the reasons why you shouldn't, but there should be no reason why you can't have a movie like Blazing Saddles. Where you can't get a movie like Porky's or fucking Nerds. Or, you know what I mean? Like, are they all? Yes, you could point out a number of things wrong with all of these movies and why you should not make them, but fucking make them.
Yeah. I mean, like we've said before, especially like John Wick The Matrix was original in its time, but now it's become like a franchise. Eventually, if you come up with some original idea and it's successful, it's going to become the thing that you don't want it to become, and that's a franchise with nothing but sequels and prequels and spinoffs. So it's kind of like, it's a double-edged sword in some respects. But yeah,
you got the stars you got now because they learned from the stars that made those movies, or was in shit like that, or did stand up like that, or did, you know what I mean? Like, Richard Pryor is a huge influence on a lot of comedians now that you love, but brother, if you knew the material that man got into, the shit that he said, George Carlin, Andrew Dice Clay, Chris Rock, like, come on, like, what are we talking about?
A lot of guys. Hell, even Robert Williams, some of his stand-up was very...
Bob Saget was a surprise.
Oh, Bob Saget was a mouthy...
I only knew him from...
That's the dad from Full House?
Yeah, from Full House and America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah,
I watched some of his stand-up and I was like, yo, that's the same dude. That's crazy work. Even Tim Allen. When I first seen Tim Allen stand up.
I was gonna say Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh yeah, but he's just funny.
Oh, he's gotta always had that
funny.
But again,
it was good old American comedy.
But it's like, can you do those jokes? Yeah, you can do those jokes. Should you do those jokes? Yeah, you should.
Hell, even Saturday Night Live's allowing some of their people to say things that they wouldn't normally have said over the last 4 or 8 years for sure too. Bill Burr was recently on there and he was cutting into people who were voted for Trump and stuff like that. So we can maybe talk about that more later in the politics stuff. But yeah, it's just like, it's funny to see like some of the stuff that's being allowed to be said now. So it's almost like we're maybe starting to get back to that what we used to be. But I don't know. I'm not holding my breath fully yet. But
the comedy was comedy for a reason back in the day. Trump.
What, Aaron?
It's perfectly okay to make fun of Trump.
Yeah,
it was the other side that they didn't want to do that too much with, for sure. But getting back to the best and worst stuff, some of the worst movies of 2004.
Oh my god!
I never did see a couple of these, but at the same time, I've heard the general consensus: Borderlands was not good, not a good adaptation. Pretty much sucks at the box office.
It sucks because like
bad.
I really wanted this to do good because like the Borderlands, the whole story is the movie, the games itself. They're a movie and it's hilarious. It's funny. It has action. Like Borderlands, the cutscenes have everything a movie should be. My literally favorite story was from 2, or the pre-sequel with Handsome Jack as the villain. Handsome Jack was such a fucking funny,
who I heard wasn't even in the movie.
Funny, cruel, and outrageous villain. Oh my god, he bought a horse just to spite you. And made it out of diamonds and called it Butt Stallion. Brother, it was the funniest interaction ever.
Well, in recent past, video game adaptations in movies are not always successful. You got to do them well.
But this would have been a great story to tell and put it on the screen. Like,
I thought Fallout did pretty good.
Well, that was a TV series.
But it was a TV series. Again, something like this could have worked as a TV series.
Or Last of Us. Things like
that was actually
Fallout really is the opposite argument for me. Fallout was a great TV series that could have been a very good movie.
Well, they get the second season, so.
But here's the thing. A lot of times they make a better series than a movie because you don't get all this It's my biggest argument with Ready Player One, and I liked the movie Ready Player One just to see all the visuals for Ready Player One. But I got to listen to the book beforehand. I would have loved it to be a TV series simply because you could have stretched that out way longer and you could have got to see a lot more, learn more of what characters' motivations, the highs and the lows. All this shit was just kind of jammed into 2 hours instead of I forget how long the book is, but it's like 36 hours or some shit like that.
Well, that's kind of Warner Brothers' hopes with stretching out the Harry Potter movies into a TV series coming up in the next few years.
That's what I'm saying. But like something like Borderlands would have probably worked out phenomenal as a TV series.
That's the thing about video games. Truncating all that into a 2-hour film. It's not always going to translate very well.
And you could have done it as an animation film because one of the coolest things and the biggest selling point of the Borderlands games when they first came out was the cell shading. Everybody was into the cell shading, and it became like a hallmark and staple of the game. So like you could have done that whole animation and story in a TV series, and I think it would have been way more profitable.
Some other really bad movies in 2024, just a couple more. Civil War. This movie, it kind of caught a lot of people's attention based on the trailer about what would Civil War look like in modern day America. But the movie itself was about following a bunch of reporters on their way to the White House and stuff like that. It wasn't even actually going to show a whole lot about the actual war. It's like that. Talk about misleading in your trailers. Not to mention, it didn't help. It also didn't help to the fact that you had the president of the United States, who supposedly was the more fascist dictator in the movie, was kind of a model of Donald Trump. So they were going for a particular narrative there. Yeah. So that definitely turned off a lot of folks for sure. So that movie did not do too well.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. Also, we got the Unfrosted, Jerry Seinfeld's movie about Pop-Tarts. This bombed on Netflix, from what I understand.
Wait a minute, this was a movie?
Yeah, it was a movie
about Pop-Tarts.
Oh my heavens!
I can't even justify the.
Who's in this shit? Hold on.
Melissa McCarthy, Kim Gaffigan, Amy Schumer, Hugh Grant. Has some names in it, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate to success. So yeah, you can probably find that on Netflix somewhere, buried in the bottom of that pile somewhere. But yeah, so good luck with that. So what's your most anticipated movie of 2025? Here is a top 10 list from Fandango of their top 10 movies. I would probably throw Thunderbolts in there, another Marvel movie, just me personally. So, yeah, you got Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, Jurassic World Rebirth, Ballerina, the John Wick spinoff is coming up next year. Yeah. Avatar, Fire and Ash, Captain America, Brave New World, Fantastic Four, Superman, and Thunderbolts is a comic book fair. 28 years later, The Accountant 2 with Ben Affleck. There's a bunch of others coming out as well. Live action Lilo and Stitch.
What is 28 years?
Stop. Wait, what? Go back to this thing.
It's a 28 years later. It's a sequel to 28 days later, I believe.
Is that the zombie?
I think there was a 28 weeks later in there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Was that the zombie one, like with the infection?
I think so. Yeah, I never saw it. I'm not a big horror movie guy or anything like that. Yeah.
I didn't watch the second Avatar, so I can't.
We've also got just some other movies. We got the live action Snow White, which nobody's going to go see. Hate to tell you that one. We got the live action Minecraft movie. We got
Minecraft might be good.
Minecraft might be
We got the Karate Kid Legends movie coming out. How to Train Your Dragon live action.
If you're asking me a movie that I'm into, that one, How to Train Your Dragon.
We got a Naked Gun reboot of The Bad Guys 2. It's an animated movie as well.
Hey, that's good though. That's a good movie.
I would put How to Train Your Dragon in the top 10. I would kick Avatar outside the top 1,000 billion.
I don't mind Avatar. I don't know if you're going to be able to make 5 3-hour epic films out of it. But
I would only put big boy movies on this list, and Avatar does not make that list of big.
How long did you say that movie was?
So,
they're like 3 hours a piece.
That is a waste for sure. Of my life.
Yeah.
Saying.
I mean, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to world build.
Yeah, they are.
To a big epic battle in the last movie.
Probably all the tribes coming together to fight the humans or something. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Considering the last movie, I think it's supposed to take place on Earth. You're probably on the right track, Aaron. I'm not going to lie to you.
We might see an epic battle in this next one because it looked like they were gearing up for something. So
yes, I agree.
We're also getting the third entry in the Tron franchise, Mortal Kombat 2. the Wicked
Ooh.
sequel, Zootopia 2, Predator Badlands as well. So, and a Anaconda movie starring Jack Black and Paul Rudd is also coming into December.
There's another Clown movie coming out.
Listen, hold on. I'm gonna say this too. Stop making shitty movies at that. Like Anaconda was only good because it was a big ass snake in the beginning.
And it was kind of scary.
Kind of like with fucking Jaws. All right,
Yeah.
I'm over it now. You see,
Now
it
it sounds like it's
once,
gonna be a comedy
move
with Jack
forward.
Black and Paul Rudd.
Yes, they need
Like-
to make the Anaconda 3D and in a SeaWorld.
I don't know. Maybe
And that will
they'll
make it better.
maybe they'll switch it
like
up on us, and it will
Sharknado.
still be kind of scary with some comedy in it. But I don't
It's a
know. It
big
just
ass
sounds
snake,
bad.
bro. Like the only cool part of the first one was when he threw that dude back up and he talked. That shit was crazy.
Yeah. But I don't know. Those are just some of the movies coming out. We'll be talking about a couple movies here in 2025 in just a second. But yeah, so any
I
other
think
ones you're looking forward to?
The only
Um,
superhero
Ballerina.
movie I'm looking forward to is Superman. I don't know. Marvel has disappointed me a lot recently, so I'm not exactly excited for their new stuff.
Well, you got to remember, Thunderbolts and Captain America: Brave New World was basically made before they decided to make a lot of adjustments, like bringing Robert Downey Jr. back and things like that. But Fantastic Four in July will probably be the start of their refreshed, their new plan moving forward. So you got to give the first two a little bit of slack. But
I will say
Yeah,
that Thunderbolts and Captain America: Brave New World do interest me.
they do, yeah.
But-
Even with the reboot, I'm just not excited for any Marvel movies at the moment.
Well, they just got to earn your trust back. As DC,
Yeah.
it has that same job. moving
See,
forward as well. I
I'm
don't
about to
know.
say, it's the reverse for me. I'm in the boat with DC that Aaron is with Marvel. I've been let down by DC too many times. To
Tell us where
to sit
DC
here.
hurts you on the doll, Brandon.
It fucking did. And it pisses me off. They still haven't fixed my superhero at all. That's worth nothing. Like that is it.
Green Lantern for those
I
watching.
actually didn't mind the Green Lantern movie.
I fucking don't want to talk to you no more.
Well, too bad.
Anytime your villain is a space cloud, it's never a good
That'd be
idea.
a quiet way to work.
Well,
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
speaking
we'll
to you
see.
at all, sir. Until you fix your attitude about that shitty ass movie. Kilowog looked like a fuck that.
Well,
I-
what? Oh, go
I
ahead.
just say I didn't think it was that bad.
Well,
Maybe-
you have to tell
I
me
didn't
how
think
you
Ryan
feel.
Reynolds did bad in it. I think it was just the writing that let him
He
down.
didn't. I don't think the acting was bad, but I guess as far as like the comic books go, it didn't match with what people were expecting.
Oh,
Which I get
definitely,
that.
for sure. Yeah.
But coming from an outsider's perspective, not really being introduced to Green
fucking
Lantern,
horrible.
I thought it
one-
was good.
My one concern, Brandon, with the Lanterns TV show coming up probably in 2026 is
Mhm.
they said the series, at least to start, is going to be Earth based.
That's
And
fine.
so now, and that's fine, but I think eventually you got to get into the space element and all that sort of stuff.
Sure, yeah,
But,
yeah, but
at
this
least
is
to
like
start out, I think it's going to be here on Earth for sure.
literally how Jordan. I mean, that's where he.
Well, of
this is-
course, yeah, the origins and stuff. I get
So,
all
like,
that, but
yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
you
it
gotta
just
start
can't
out
stay
where,
here. That's all.
No,
where everybody's
eventually you gotta-
familiar.
Yeah,
Maybe by then it'll be a movie or something like that. We'll have to wait and see. But in 2025, we've got a few movies coming out that I wanted to talk about tonight. One of them is, of course, the new Superman movie coming out for a couple weeks ago. I did a live action reaction to this. We're going to watch it again real quick for those of you here who have not seen it. But we
I have
got
not
the
seen it.
we got the motion poster for the new Superman film, complete with some of the music tracks that kind of pays homage to the old John Williams theme from the Christopher Reeve version as
Mhm.
well. So we maybe get a little bit of that in the new movie. So I thought this was a really cool motion poster that they released. So for those of us who have not seen this on the channel, let's go ahead and watch, or in my case, rewatch the Superman official teaser trailer that came out about 8 days ago. So now, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it, and we thought it would lead into a little bit more of a conversation when it comes to DC as well. So let's get into this. Let's check it out. Didn't start out the way I thought it would. He's already hurt, which is good to establish that Superman is not all powerful. I thought. Yeah.
Look how dirty he looks.
Crypto.
Home. Take me home.
Superman.
So yeah, what do you guys think about that trailer? First thoughts, first reactions.
I love the suit.
It comes out on our anniversary.
It does.
I'm going to go see that.
Fucking crypto though.
I
Yeah,
like crypto being in there.
What are you talking about?
I thought crypto looked like it had a lot of personality, a lot of heart to him.
Yeah.
A lot of people were criticizing that move when James Gunn decided to include it, but I think it could very well work. I mean, James Gunn made us care about a raccoon in a tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
let's be honest here.
let's be fair.
Yeah, let's be honest. If Rocket and Groot were not in the Guardians movies, the movies wouldn't have tanked.
They got people to call Rocket Raccoon a trash panda.
He is a trash panda.
And
He got you
then
to care about King Shark.
got him to call him a rabbit after that.
Yeah.
Like, because Thor called him rabbit.
Well, this trailer broke all sorts of records. It is officially the highest viewed trailer for DC and Warner Brothers in history. And it also broke the top 5 all-time trailer debuts ever, ranking right up there with Spider-Man No Way Home at number 1, Endgame's teaser and official trailer at 2 and 3, and coming in at 4th was Deadpool and Wolverine teaser that dropped during the Super Bowl, I believe. So it's ranking right up there. It's got all sorts of word of mouth, and for the most part, it seemed like the audiences are accepting this new Superman trailer. Like, they really enjoy what they're seeing. There's been a lot of detractors out there, obviously people who are fans of Henry Cavill or Man of Steel, things like that. I understand, but at the same time, it seems like most audience members are kind of getting on board with this so far. So despite the fact that even though Brandon said he liked the suit, a lot of people feel like they don't like the suit either. But I think it's just, I don't understand that either. I
like
feel like
the
it
suit.
looks fun.
I like
I think
the
it looks
old.
good.
I like the old style with the underoos over the top.
The underoos, yes.
Yeah.
I like
but
it.
yeah, I think it looks
I
good.
like
And I
the
think
old
when you
style.
go see the movie, the suit's not going to matter as much as long as the movie's good. So yeah.
I don't know when
So-
they started taking boots off of certain characters, but like the red boots. I mean, it's like what did Superman look like back in the day?
Yeah, well, I'm just glad it looks brighter. It doesn't look so dour. You know,
Yeah.
my Superman was like Christopher Reeve back in the day, who was, optimistic and hopeful and wasn't so brooding and things like that. So not to say that Henry Cavill's version was absolutely
Brother.
trash.
It's the
but there
same
was
thing
some-
they did it to Batman too. They made him worse.
Well, yeah,
More
see, they
sour
tried to
and
make
brooder.
Superman Batman. That's what they tried to do.
Yeah.
Superman is not Batman. Superman's more like Captain America, definitely, moral and things like that. So,
Until
never
something
killing
happens
anybody.
that turns that whole thing.
There were
I don't
just
know
certain
that Superman killed a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, there was just certain decisions that those, the Zack Snyder, Man of Steel, and Henry Cavill that they made that just did not coalesce with the overall Superman character, in my opinion. But that's just me.
That
So I'm
whole
looking forward to
argument
this.
of like superheroes not killing people. Think about it. You're still a superhero. You possess superhuman strength, unlike Batman, who just put people into comas, and that's cool. But whatever. Like Superman, you know how hard it is for him not to kill somebody.
Yeah, you have to
You
pull his
know what I'm
punches.
saying?
Sure. Yeah.
There had to be a slip up every once in a while.
Occasionally. But 2 weeks ago, we discussed that Clayface would be getting his own film and how the Batman and the new DCU will be separate universes. Well, hold everything, because today we got 2 bits of Batman news that may throw all of that into flux. First off, we got director Andy Muschietti saying that his upcoming DCU film, Batman the Brave and the Bold, has been delayed for a little while or indefinitely. He says he might be making a smaller film before that new Batman film, but hasn't been postponed or scrapped altogether. The second bit of news was the fact that it was announced that the Batman Part 2 has officially been delayed a full year to October 1st of 2027. It's already been delayed at least once before. Well, that's obviously sad news. I prefer quality over quantity in this case, but this now means it'll be a whole 5+ year wait between the first part and the second film, which is absurd. Director Matt Reeves is known for taking forever to write his scripts, but you combine that with the writer's strike that occurred, and James Gunn will have written and filmed and released about 7 projects in the same time frame. So it's like
crazy.
It's insane to think about. James Gunn, obviously one of the co-heads over there at DC Studios, on I believe this is X or one of the social media accounts, says, yes, it is true the film's been delayed, but the only reason for the delay is there isn't a full script. Matt is committed to making the best film he possibly can, and no one can accurately guess exactly how long a script will take to write. Once there's a finished script, there's around 2 years for pre-production shooting and post-production on big film. So let's say he gets that ready to go and they're able to film by the end of next year. It'll still take about 2 years, which would fall in line with the 2027 release date. But there's other reports out there, including Deadline, who is saying and suggesting that it will be heavy on visual effects and the title may no longer be The Batman Part 2. That suggests that it may not be set apart from the new DCU now, because you should not need a whole lot of visual effects in a grounded reality-based Batman film. So maybe there's a behind all this, which leads me to the speculation. DC Studios co-head James Gunn, on the left here in the photo, recently stated they had discussed it at one point, but thus far, James Gunn is stating that the Batman is an Elseworld story that does not tie into the overall upcoming DCU. But partially because he stated that he had considered it in the past, and reports such as the ones I just read to you, rumors are now growing to the point that they can't be ignored anymore, that James Gunn is looking to incorporate Matt Reeves' The Batman franchise into the overall new DCU. Batman actor Robert Pattinson also reportedly wants to join the DCU, but director Matt Reeves, seen here on the right, has reportedly been hesitant to that idea. If they've come to an agreement, the lengthy delay could be so Matt Reeves could retool the next Batman film to fit into the new DCU. This merging has also been hinted at by industry insiders throughout the internet. Regardless of whether it's this or something else that may be like wanting to shoot parts 2 and 3 back to back, something is definitely going on with the Batman sequels, though. But if this rumor is true and they merge, could this work, in your guys' opinion? What do you guys think? I know Brandon's not seen it.
I haven't seen,
but you know it's more gritty. It's kind of like the Dark Knight trilogy, more down to earth, more realistic.
Yeah.
And you're going to mix it up
but in saying that too, like, I don't get like the whole why would you want to have the disconnect with like Clayface? Batman is supposed to be this down, like the reason why these characters, some of them are changed in a way, is because of what was the name of that? Acme? Whatever it was, they've changed because of something that took place, something that happened. So like you still got these gritty characters that like Clayface and Poison Ivy, who has the ability to control plants, but it was due to something that took place, and Mr. Freeze and this whole thing. Like his villains are still the monsters, but they were all created in a sense. Harvey Dent is a perfect example. Joker is another perfect example of that. Like, so I guess what I'm getting at is saying, like, I don't understand why you didn't want that integration to begin with. You get what I mean?
Well, first part of it is because the Batman came out before the DC kind of built their own studio and kind of started doing their own thing. So the Batman had already existed. So this is kind of a new development. So if they wanted to bring that Batman in, they'd have to integrate it and fold it into the new universe.
That's what I'm saying. So like, but why? But
why was that the plan?
Why was that not the plan?
It sounded like the director of the Batman and the Penguin, Matt Reeves, there on the right, was hesitant to the idea, kind of wanting to do his own thing without worrying about another universe to kind of adhere to. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that, but at the same time, I agree with you. But as Two-Face would say, or Harvey Dent, as you mentioned a second ago, I'm of two minds about this. A part of me wants to see them stay separate and have a completely fantastical Batman not grounded to reality in the Justice League stuff. However, the Batman and the Penguin were written so well that I'd love for this version to somehow work in the broader DCU. Batman has always been a more grounded character, whether they fold this existing version into the new fantastical DCU filled with gods and monsters or not. Eventually, a Batman will be involved and need to work with the more fantastical elements. So what difference does it make if it's Robert Pattinson's Batman's more gritty, realistic Batman or another actor down the line? Either will just be a man with money who is a great detective in fighting crime. So
no, that's not it. Like listen, you can't keep. certain actors bring certain things to a role.
I agree with that.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you keep switching them out here and there. Like, it dilutes the fucking character. Again,
it was obviously originally conceived to be its own thing.
Yes.
I agree with that. Yes.
But at the same time, like, all right, then to change out the fucking character, the Batman that people have gone to like is a mistake because then nobody's going to pay attention to the new Batman.
Yeah.
So,
but then the question becomes, is two Batmans too confusing for most audiences at the same time?
Yes.
It is too confusing, you think?
I think so.
So if that's the case, you kind of have to bring him in, don't you? Because you're not canceling the Batman.
No, I don't know. Like,
it becomes an interesting problem, doesn't it? You know, see what I'm saying?
It's the disconnect, though. If Robert Pattinson version of the Batman is what you've grown to like, right?
Yeah, which Matt has, I know.
And then they decide to go with, give me an actor who could play Batman.
I don't know. John Hamm. His name got floated around there for a while.
And now he's going to be in the DCU version of Batman. And now you have all these DCU movies, Batman, but then you have this Robert Pattinson version of Batman. That's too fucking much.
Well, I mean, I like the idea that Gotham is its own thing and Metropolis is something completely different. We've talked.
You can still have that in this world because it was part of that world. It was already there.
It's more about when you bring them together that I'm concerned about. Because I just don't know if I could see this Batman on screen that we're seeing right now, surrounded by the cartoony Justice League and their bright, colorful suits and Crypto the Super Dog. And were you going to bring Ace the Bat Hound into this Batman?
But he was.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, time out. But he was. That's literally how it worked.
I understand. That's my point too. Like he's always going to be a darker, grittier character. So whether you do it with this Batman or a different actor, it's kind of like you're going to do it eventually anyway.
But it also, it's why Batman, why he had contingency plans for everybody in the fucking Justice League. Why he initially tried to kill Superman. Why? Because he saw him as a bigger fucking threat. Yeah, he was doing good, but like, who keeps you in check? I told you the story of what he did to Darkseid on like.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do they
fix it? Brain explodes. How do they
fix it?
How do they fix it?
I don't know. That's the thing.
If you bring in the darker, grittier Batman, you don't have to change much from what you're doing with the Justice.
Yes.
In the same sense of like they did not change who Batman was when they brought Batman to the fucking Justice League to begin with. Batman was still this character. Gotham was still this terrible fucking place.
Eric.
And it all worked.
But how does it end? Or where does it end and where does a new story begin? Like how many more of these?
Well, what I think is what you're saying. So basically what you would do is like the Batman movie's already come out. You would just act like that's the first film in the new series.
Right.
And then you get the Superman movie and some of the other stuff that got planned as well. And you take the second movie that's yet to come out and you get that retooled and rewrite it to where it fits into everything that you're building moving forward. So you could do it, but you would have to take some retooling and rewriting.
But at this point, if you haven't been watching for the last 50 years, you don't know what the fuck is going on.
Well, that's the thing. They're structuring these movies in a way where you don't have to see all that old stuff. The only thing you'd have to see in this new universe would be the new Batman film. And as of right now, unless they integrate that, it would just be the new Superman film. So you just start fresh. So and they're planning moving forward.
It'll be like Iron Man.
Well, it's same with the MCU. When the MCU reboots here at the end of Secret Wars in the next couple of years, they're going to start structuring movies, I think, in a way to where you could see the movies new without seeing all the old stuff. But if you have, great. But if you haven't, you can pick up and jump in anytime. Kind of like when you pick up a new comic book. Same sort of way. So you can watch the Superman movie.
Because at one point, it gets intimidating to have to watch all these movies. And like, why even try? I don't have time to fucking watch John Wick. Like,
and that's only 4 films right now. Yeah. So yeah, I don't disagree with you. So, but yeah, I think they're finally starting to realize that is a problem. So hopefully they're restructured.
I mean, we'll
save this for politics, but maybe Vivek's right. We do watch a lot of TV here.
yeah. We're going to talk about that too. Yeah. So, but I see your point though, Brandon, for sure. Absolutely. But yeah. I believe if this does end up happening, though, DC Studios is likely waiting until after the release of Superman next summer to announce it, to see how well Superman is received and if it makes money or not. Because if Superman fails, the Batman can continue on its own and not be hindered by the struggling or canceled new DCU. But
I think they should just do Batman.
Well, and I know I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you in here in a second, Matt. But hold on a second. But if Superman is successful, the likelihood of these two franchises merging together increases, in my opinion. I believe, despite what James Gunn has said so far, DC Studios has bought themselves a bit of time here to make the right call about which direction they want to go with Batman. So, Matt, you said at work that you would kind of prefer they keep these two separate, and I'm inclined to agree with you.
Yes.
I just think either one could maybe work, and either one at some point you're going to have to bring in a Batman who is more gritty and more down to earth. But that's why the whole dynamic between him and Superman work is they're two completely different characters. You can't change that.
This is what I think they should do with the franchise, with the Batman side of it. Brandon, you can have your opinion about what I'm about to say, and I'm going to let you have your moment. Okay? But I want you to at least listen to me. With the next, they should do they're doing the Penguin series right now. Right now, Eric?
Well, it's done now, but yes.
It's done. Okay, it's done. They've done the Penguin series, okay? They need to release this upcoming Batman movie on Halloween.
In 3 years.
In 3 years. They need to either have two things happen. They need to either open the movie with him either fighting or defeating Clayface.
And that Clayface movie could very well tie right into the Batman Part 2.
They need to have that
very well
in the beginning. And then they need to segue it to either Scarecrow or Mr. Freeze.
Well,
it could be one of the two.
But again, if you're going to start introducing these characters, again, the biggest thing with the whole Superman is the one who fights all the interstellar shit. Like, he's the one who can go toe to toe with
I didn't say shit
superhuman shit. Batman deals with more humanized villains in the sense of psychologically this and third. But that's again which made the dynamic between the two of them so fucking pivotal, because Superman needed someone like Batman to ground him, to show him like there's a dark side that we can't all fight fucking star people. Like we're not aliens. We're humans. So like Batman is very pivotal in that aspect. Gotham being this dark, gritty place, Gotham was always this dark, gritty place, and it could be that in this world because it literally was part of this world. To separate the two makes no fucking sense. And then you bring in just some other guy to play Batman who doesn't have the same weight and world building that this Batman is already established and built up to have that interaction with fucking Superman. Like,
sounds like you're for this.
I hated the interaction between Henry Cavill and fucking Ben Affleck as far as superheroes go.
Well, that Batman had no build up whatsoever.
That was not. That's
no,
not even,
but they also told a half-ass story of like what would happen if Superman went fucking rogue. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So then Batman's motivation to stop him made no fucking sense.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And then
he saw the destruction of Metropolis and thought he's evil, or we got to be prepared for him. But it sounds like, Brandon, you're for this, baby.
Yes.
Okay. I know Matt's against. Like I said, I can see the merits to both ways.
I'm not.
I really do.
I'm not against it, Eric.
Yeah.
I'm just what I'm stating is that if you're gonna do Batman, that's the direction you need to go in. Because the reason why I'm saying Scarecrow, and a lot of people are bitching because I said that, but the reason why I'm saying Scarecrow is because you've already introduced Arkham Asylum in the first movie.
You did.
And I think that would be the perfect next villain for that. He would make sense.
Well, and like I said earlier, the report says that the sequel is taking a little longer because it's going to have extensive visual effects work done to it. If you're going to bring in somebody like a Clayface, or if you do the Clayface thing, you're going to have to. So maybe, I don't know. It's just interesting to me how all these reports are kind of maybe leaning to this maybe the direction they're going.
The only reason why I think Clayface has to be very quick is because Clayface would have to be like, you would have to get a very small dose of Clayface because
that's on the budget.
Well, not that. It's like
he's not a villain. I mean, he is, but he's not a shot caller.
No,
that makes sense. Like he's not somebody in charge.
He's like Doc Ock.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah.
No, Doc Ock still could be in charge. Doc Ock could have henchmen. Clayface
he's not even a Doc Ock.
Clayface is the henchman. That makes sense. Like as a character,
yeah. I'm just talking about motivation wise, but yeah.
But yeah, motivation wise, sure. But like
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as a villain, yeah, he's there.
Or,
you know what I'm saying? Like
Clayface leads into Scarecrow. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of rumors about who the villain could be. We'll just kind of side that for now.
Scarecrow would be good. Mr. Freeze would be awesome.
If you take what who's the director for the Batman movies?
Matt Reeves for the new one. Or yeah.
If you take everything that you like about his storytelling and what he's done, all you're doing is transferring that vision, that world, those words into what James Gunn can do. We saw what he did for Guardians. Nobody know who the fuck Star-Lord was until he showed you.
Yeah. And I have no problem if they want to make Matt Reeves completely like oversee all the Batman related stuff. And then when you have him come into the Justice League, still have his input where you can kind of collaborate together.
Yes, because that's the only way you're going to get that character, because he's the one who has the vision for that character. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and it's been outstanding so far. You got to watch these things, Brent. You'll love them.
Again, this man made you give a shit about a raccoon in a tree. Like, what he could do with the DC world, and there are a lot of characters that are out of pocket in the DC world too, but what he could do with the DC world could be amazing. I'm not saying you're going to get Guardians out of the Justice League, because you shouldn't, because that's
no. I think he's basically already said it's not going to be the same as Guardians.
It could be
because those characters are nothing like.
No,
it's not going to work.
If he does that, he's in for failure for sure.
Yeah, it would never work, simply because of who those characters are and then who these characters are. Like, sure, you can get the quippy shit that you would get from Star-Lord from somebody like the Flash or Lantern, but like you're not going to get Superman should be Captain America, but on the sense of like humans are still new to him, and at the same time he's got to take care of all of us.
But he should also love humanity, and things like that. Obviously,
but also see the flaws in humanity. That was a big thing with Superman. Like,
but still love them all the same. I'm sure. We got Kevin Davis in the chat said, even if James Gunn makes a good Superman film, it's not going to change anything at Warner Brothers DC. Now, the only thing I can say about that is Warner Brothers. This DC Studios has their own new studios. So DC's got their own studio now, so they're not going to be. Yes, Warner Brothers still owes them and all that stuff, but I think DC's going to kind of have a little bit more free reign than they once did under the old DCEU. So I'm kind of just preaching patience on that right now. So hopefully everybody will give Superman a chance to see how that goes. And if Superman sucks, by all means, criticize it all you want. But I think we at least need to give it a chance. But I'm ready for Peacemaker.
Sucks. Continue on to Batman as planned.
Exactly. But either way, I want the DCU Batman to eventually kind of look like this, even if it's not Pattinson. I'm just ready for the blue and gray Batman. If it's done right,
you may get that with Robert Pattinson, but
if Robert Pattinson ends up like eventually, having a character development to this point, this could still look badass if done the right way.
As long as he doesn't have nipples.
Look at that. That's intimidating as shit. So I mean, you can still have that. But
now hold on. Next your question. On Batman's cows, were you more of a fan of the short ears or the tall ears?
I grew up with the tall ears, so I'd probably go with that. But I just don't want the little stubs. I want it to be.
No, I hate the stubs,
medium.
But I like the shorter ones.
Yeah, I don't mind the shorter ones. That's fine. But I kind of like that level. Maybe not like real long either, but at the same time, just somewhere in between, if you ask me. But,
this is probably one of my favorite Batman.
I mean, this could look absolutely outstanding though. You do this on film, the color design and all that sort of stuff. So if Robert Pattinson could eventually lead up into that, it's going to look a little weird because he's wearing all black and stuff now. But he's basically in year 2, I think, in the Batman. So he's still early on in his career. So you could build to this.
I want to point this out real quick. First of all,
I think Scarecrow.
Batman is no spring chicken. Okay.
Right.
Superman, he's an alien. He's a superhero. Like, you'd expect the physique. But ain't no way in hell you telling me Batman keeping up with him as far as the physique goes.
Well, that's the good thing about David Cornsworth's Superman. He's not got the Henry Cavill buff physique, but at the same time, he still looks good in the suit, in my personal
I'm just
opinion.
saying,
He looks like Superman.
No way Batman's competing with Superman in the ab department. It's not happening.
Well, of course not. Yeah. Well, even Robert Pattinson's not the most buff Batman in the world, but the suit, I think, complements him well. So that's all that really matters. All right, well, let's move into a couple more movie things. We'll move on here. First off, apparently Marvel has now announced that Black Panther 3 is officially in development after Denzel Washington come out recently and stated that director Ryan Coogler is writing a film role for him. And rumors abound after reports from Alex Perez at the Cosmic Circus. He says that Michael B. Jordan could be set to return in an upcoming Avengers film. Obviously, most well known for playing Killmonger in the Black Panther films. Obviously, he had the Creed role and stuff like that. But the question becomes, since the Avengers film will probably most likely be Secret Wars, we've kind of had this conversation with some other actors. Will he be a variant of Killmonger? Will he be a variant of T'Challa? Or could Michael B. Jordan be cast to possibly replace Chadwick Boseman as the new MCU Black Panther, perhaps playing an older version of T'Challa and Nakia's son from the second film? What are your thoughts on those possibilities?
I think if he comes back, he'll be Killmonger as Jaguar.
Yes.
Okay. He could just be a Killmonger. Is that like the hero version of Killmonger?
No, it was him in that suit. Go back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see.
That's the Jaguar suit.
That one there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was still evil here, but there's a lot of speculation online.
He
could be the same. He could be the same character
for a while too, though. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of speculation that he could be the same character, but just not be a villain, be a hero from another universe.
There could be that. There could be
just
that.
Not T'Challa, but could maybe take on the mantle. But there's a lot of speculation that he could become the new MCU Black Panther movie.
I don't know.
I always thought that the way he died in the film was kind of dumb. It's like there's no way they can't bring him back for that. I mean,
Panther wanted to save him, but T'Challa or Killmonger wanted to die.
Yeah.
He knew.
Well, he remember he had an appearance in the sequel, but kind of as a vision to Shuri a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But he's talked about how he'd love to come back. Multiverse would be the way to do it. Or like you say, you take the young T'Challa the second at the end of the second movie, age him up, and maybe he just ends up looking like Michael B. Jordan.
Because then this question that was like Killmonger's kid.
I know, right? That could be kind of wonky little. Yeah, I get you. I don't know, but
if you have him come back as Killmonger, just from another alternate world where he was the ruler of Wakanda and wasn't a villain, then yeah, it would work. I mean, you could do it that way, but I don't know, man. I think like Chadwick, I think his impact as Panther was major. Losing him sucked.
Cultural.
So it's hard to replace that. Period.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's probably going to end up being happening, but
but you can't replace him with the guy who, like, you know what I mean? Like, he killed.
Was the villain in the first film. Yeah, I hear you. That's going to be a hard decision.
But you can have Robert Downey Jr. play Victor Von Doom.
I swear to God, he better not be playing Victor Von Doom. That is wild.
It'd be interesting if he's not a Tony Stark variant for sure. But I mean, when you're getting with the multiverse, you would be playing with the emotions of all these characters to have people who look like other characters we've seen before. So this could be just another one of those in the long lines of characters that they use that for. But I mean, don't get me wrong, Michael B. Jordan is a hell of an actor. His Johnny Storm did not do too well, but I would not be upset if he ended up becoming the new Black Panther moving forward because he's a hell of an actor. But you just have to make it make sense.
Told it to where in that universe, him and T'Challa grew up side by side. T'Challa was the king of that Wakanda, and he passed away or whatever, and he took on the mantle. Somehow he's now here for whatever reason. Yeah. Fine, but don't just make it make sense. Don't call him anything but Killmonger, what he's known by. Don't deviate from the fucking character. It's the same thing I have with the whole Robert Downey Jr. playing fucking Doom. Don't deviate from who he is because you can't expect people not to go. That's Tony Stark.
Yeah, everybody's gonna see it.
That's what they're gonna do, though, Brandon.
That doesn't
make
sense.
I mean,
how does that not make sense to you, though?
The only
you can do. Never mind. I'm not about to get into this.
Well, I'm just asking.
The only litmus test we have so far is what they did with Hugh Jackman in Deadpool and Wolverine as Wolverine, alternate reality version. So that's probably about your best bet. Yeah, he's still Logan. So I mean, there are ways of doing it. That's going to be the challenge for Marvel Studios is to make it make sense.
He is still Logan, isn't he?
Yeah. So again,
why would it make
him as Killmonger? He doesn't have to be anybody else. He doesn't have to be T'Challa. You don't have to call him that. You can call him Killmonger.
I guess time will tell. We'll see if he ends up showing back up or not. But you never can't say no to Michael B. Jordan's talent for sure. He was great in the Creed movies and some other stuff he's been in too. So
he was great as Killmonger.
He was great as Killmonger. Absolutely, I'm not taking away from that. I'm just trying to think of someone.
Honestly, did not mind him as Johnny Storm.
Just the movie was trash.
The movie was trash, and I think everybody else they picked was
kind of like Green Lantern.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think Green Lantern. Fit,
And for all we know, he's coming back as Johnny Storm from that universe. We already had one Johnny Storm return.
Don't do that.
No.
You think they're not going to do it? Come on, dude.
Just like Green Lantern. I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, they did Chris Evans, Johnny Storm dirty. Just saying.
Yo, he got folded, big dog.
And not in the fun way.
Oh, brother.
How do you get
well,
folded? How does one get folded?
Ask your
Matt, I'm moving on from that.
Matt, if you haven't figured out how to get folded by now, then you got problems.
I'm just going to let it go.
I
was going to move on.
Folded?
Insane. Well, there's one other movie in 2025. There's one other movie in 2025 that I did not mention. We were talking about it a minute ago, and that is, of course, I'm trying my best.
You just keep trying. Your best.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, what are you saying, Rick?
Oh, anyway, Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out next year as well on Netflix, and it sounds like it'll be coming out around July. There's a quick little 30-second teaser, so I thought we'd check it out real quick and get your thoughts on Happy Gilmore 2 if y'all can pull yourself together and be professional, for crying out loud.
Oh, that was out of pocket.
It's great to see you back, Mr. Gilmore.
Yeah, baby.
We've only just begun.
Gilmore. Big Daddy.
Potentially teasing a bit of a rematch between Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore for certain here, maybe, potentially. So, yeah, quick thoughts. Yeah, the first movie's great. It's kind of one of those, again, it's been like, 30-some years now since the last one almost.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's been
but I think,
know.
see, that kind of time, though, with, and for what the movie was, it was a comedy. It's hilarious. Like, those kind of sequels to those kind of movies, they're not, it's not an over budget thing. You don't have all these crazy ass special effects, stuff like that. So like, if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit, but you're not out. You know what I mean? It's gonna hit for some people because they enjoyed the first movie. Now, if you get some people who've never seen Happy Gilmore and go watch this movie with no context of any of the inside jokes, because it's a comedy and because of the first movie having all these inside jokes, they won't get it, so they won't appeal to them, but they'll go because it's Adam Sandler and they like Adam Sandler.
Well, hopefully, since it's Happy Gilmore 2, there's another film to go watch beforehand. So hopefully,
yeah, it's on Netflix. So the first one's got to be on Netflix.
Yeah, watch it.
I think so. Yeah,
yeah, I'm
so
sure.
Go watch it. Yeah, go watch it.
I'm sure it'll be good.
Couple little moments in the teaser I thought I'd just point out real quick here. Obviously, we got a quick shot of Travis Kelce as what looks to be like a bus boy in the trailer. So I don't think he's going to have a huge role necessarily. I don't believe. Probably a cameo, but he's definitely in the film.
Could have been JJ.
There he is in all of his mustachioed glory. No doubt about it. We also got a quick little shot here. And on the bottom right, you can see that is MJF. That's MJF from AEW, who is officially in this film. I think he's got a decent role, who recently had one of his acting debut. I think it was his debut in the Iron Claw, based on the Von Erich family for sure. So he's got getting his feet wet a little bit when it comes to the world of Hollywood for sure. And of course, I want to, if this movie wants to, hook me as a fan of the original film, you pay tribute to Chubbs from the first film, obviously, whose character passed away, but the actor has also passed away as well in recent memory. But also Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore, obviously, in the first film, had this epic throwdown fight. They even filmed a sequel where Bob Barker was in a hospital room. You can find online, which is just as equally hilarious. So, in my opinion, if you pay homage to this moment, as well as, in my opinion, the sequel, I want to see a fight between Happy Gilmore and Drew Carey now, because he is now the host of The Price is Right. So this would be great. And it's hard. And I looked this up. Apparently, Drew Carey has been the host of The Price is Right now for 17 years.
Oh my God.
Which is insane.
We should make the kids watch that.
Bruh.
Happy Gilmore?
They Price is Right.
Price is Right. Yeah. Dude, I still love watching The Price is Right.
Me too.
I mean, I haven't seen it in a long, long time. I imagine a lot of games are the same.
I was thinking about watching a soap opera the other day.
Bruh.
Like, is Days of Our Lives still
Days
on?
of Our Lives?
It is.
Oh my!
I heard.
Is
I
it
think the actor
really?
who played Jack Black recently, or not Jack Black, John Black recently passed away. So,
Oh,
but
boo.
yeah, but he's been on
Oh.
there for how
Dude, I
long
watched.
now? Since I was a
I
kid.
watched Dallas,
Yeah.
General
Oh.
Hospital, Days of Our
Mhm.
Lives, As the World Turns. Brother, I like when I got sick and stayed home from school, and my mom, she watched soap operas. So I'm sitting in the living room because it's the only
Mhm.
TV in the house, and I'm watching soap operas because I ain't got no choice. And I fucking loved them. Like I get hooked in, I get sucked into an episode, and I'm just sitting on the floor with my snot rag going, did he kill her? For sure. Like,
Don't worry, they'll bring her back. Whoever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, I mean,
To
it's like
come back to movies.
Passions. Did you ever watch Passions?
my
I
mom
never
did.
watched.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
that one was crazy.
Yeah, I got into Days of Our Lives and Passions with my mom on like days off from school and stuff. Where like there's like this demon possession thing going on in Days of Our Lives. You remember
Oh
that
my
one?
god.
That was way back in the day. But yeah, Marlena and John at the time. Yeah, I was
Oh.
terrified of that thing exorcism or whatever it was.
Brother.
Insane, but yeah, fun stuff.
Those like hold on. That's the other thing too. Bring back shit like that. TV dramas like were insane back in the day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
these soap operas were nuts. Even the TV shows, like we were talking about this too, not too long ago at work. MacGyver, Knight Rider. As cheesy as stupid as it was, Knight Rider was amazing. Viper, which was a knockoff of Knight Rider, just for a cooler car. Like Airwolf, MASH. I used to watch MASH. I ain't watching a lot of it.
MASH is pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever go back and watch a TV show like your parents used to watch as a kid, and then saw it again as an adult? And go, that was a lot more funny than I remember it being. As my grandmother used to watch Golden Girls. I thought it was like, okay, this is probably a good wholesome comedy. No, it's raunchy as hell.
Yeah.
You know?
I like I told you before, and I've said this to you before too. Like we talked. In the Heat of the Night used to be one of my favorite shows, and like as a kid watching it, I only latched onto the characters on the show, and like Bubba was the coolest one to me. Big old dude, big country fed dude, and watching it as an adult and understanding like the story, it's like, dude, this show's dark as shit. Like there's a lot of fucked up shit going on here. Murder She Wrote was another one.
Yeah.
Loved the woman who played there. What was her name? Oh, I'm thinking of the Golden Girls now too. Not her name. Hey, wait.
Married. Oh,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I remember Married with Children. When I was a kid, I didn't understand many of the jokes. Now I'm laughing my ass off at it. You know what I mean?
Married
Like
with Children was crazy work.
Stuff like that. Like you could air some of those shows now. Period.
That's the dumbest thing I told you before. It's the dumbest thing to say out loud. You couldn't do it again.
Let's get back to that. That's one of the reasons I've been trying to get you guys to watch The Office. One of the reasons The Office was so successful is because it dealt with like a lot of stuff that we complain about, like with jobs and stuff. Taking that sort of material that we complain about daily, turning it into comedy, as well as not giving an S about the PC stuff. So that's what made that show great. So I think you guys would love that, the American version of The Office.
The Office is pretty good.
It's amazing. It's one of the best comedies.
And me and Brandon, we got into British comedies for a while just because they were, I don't know, out of control. Like we seen this one snippet of the show where they bought a dildo by accident or something, and they were trying to hide it. It was hilarious. Like, and it's like you could put that on TV now.
No, not at all.
Wouldn't work at all. We watched this one about a guy who ran a bookstore, and he was an asshole to everybody, but he was needing them to make money, and the little conniving schemes that he would come up with, it was hilarious to watch. But you couldn't do shit like that now. Like
I said, hopefully we'll eventually get back. I noticed Disney was taking a woke storyline out of one of their animated series. Did you hear about that? Yeah, so that's start on the right track at least. So hopefully that can continue. So maybe we'll get back to some good old.
Maybe they might make money.
Maybe we can get back to making those Friday night family shows, like
TGIF.
Matters.
That taught good moral values.
Full House. Full House.
I mean, I don't know if anybody watch them today, but somebody probably would. If you get the
Boy
right
Meets World was amazing for its time.
Yeah, just go back and watch the classics. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, let's move into a little bit of sports talk, and then we'll wrap up the show with some politics. So let's check out some stuff in the sports world. What was that?
What was
All
that
right.
sound?
I don't know. I was trying to figure out what it was too, personally.
That was Reese.
Yeah, if I said it sounded like Reese. He squealed.
Something, I don't know. So again, kind of keeping with the theme of tonight's show, best and worst moments of 2024. I think in the best category is probably the Indiana Hoosiers, obviously having a great season that they had, even though it did not go their way in the college football playoffs a couple weeks ago. But at the same time, good year for them. I think it says here they're like we're 10th in the seeding, I think, or whatnot. But yeah, I had one of their best seasons. I think actually it was their best season of all time in school history. So yeah, so that's a good thing. Obviously, worst seasons, it's probably been a little bit longer than a year, but this is how I kind of feel as a Colts fan. Outside of the injury, you can kind of remove the injuries from the poll, but the NFL gods is beating down the Colts.
Yeah,
for sure. This has kind of been our history in recent years.
you can just erase where it says injuries and put drama.
Yeah, drama, lack of good management,
Motivation,
the whole spiel. But such is life as a Colts fan, no doubt about it. But that's just the thing. But yeah, like I said, Indiana Hoosiers did well. Obviously, got destroyed by the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. For sure, that game it might have ended at 27-17, but it wasn't that game. That score was not nearly as close. It was like 27-3 to like the final minute of the game. So yeah, at that point,
only y'all could have did what y'all did to Purdue to the Irish, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
They beat the snot out of
You know
Purdue.
what? You still got Oregon to deal with over there at Ohio State. So
We barely lost that game through the horrible clock management.
You think they got a shot in the playoffs?
We only lost because we lost. We played ourselves. I think we got it this time. I don't think we give them the second opportunity to beat us again.
Do they play tomorrow?
I think it's. Hold on.
Go ahead.
They play. Well, I don't know about they, but the next college playoff games are the 31st and on New Year's Day, so it'll be one of those 2 days. So, but yeah, and after that, I think the championship is on
every Steelers
January
this year. That's been a good moment.
All right, brother.
All right, we're done talking to you, man.
This is why the Colts suck, because we had karma.
Here's the thing, Matt. Name your team that's winning right now.
Which team?
Name your team. Name the team that you cheer for that's at a better position than Pittsburgh right now.
The Bills.
Okay, I'm done talking to you because you're not a Bills fan. You only say
I still think a lot of the Colts woes is because of this moment here at the top left. The Indianapolis Colts fans booed Andrew Luck for this. So I think it's karma. So that's
isn't he going to be a coach now?
I know he went back to Stanford and was doing something down there. Yeah. Definitely looks a lot different. I think he's lost some weight and stuff, which again he was bulked up for the game and stuff. So, but yeah, I know Captain Andrew Luck is back on X and stuff like that. So you're talking about leading the troops instead of actually playing.
Even from this photo, that's a touchdown. That's crazy work.
Well, it depends on you can't see the line of sight down the goal line, so
his foot is over the fucking goal line.
No matter if his foot is.
This is the biggest argument.
Granted, that's wrong. That's not the way it goes. It's the ball has to be across the goal line, not the foot.
But you have to have both feet fucking down to make a catch in the end zone.
I thought it was the foot.
No, if you're running into the end zone like this guy here is in the top right, the ball has to cross the plate. If you're catching it, both feet have to be in bounds with the ball in possession. I know it's kind of a weird ruling, but yeah, the ball has to cross the goal line or at least touch it. So yeah. So in this case, it don't matter where his foot is.
But you can.
It was in his mouth apparently.
Yeah, it was. I like the following week though. Did you see what he did? How he ran into the tunnel?
Yeah, he ran all the way. Yeah,
he was not going to take that chance again. So good on him. But when it comes to sports as well, here is our current fantasy football championship. Right now, our own Aaron down there is leading 65-0. But that is after he's already played 4 guys, Lamar Jackson being one of them, and his opponent Bob, who has not been on the channel before, but he hasn't played any of his players yet. So Bob is not out yet. But at the same time, Aaron's got a decent lead, so he very well could be bringing this bad boy home with him.
Who you still
next
got?
Week. So
you still got Nakua to play.
He's still got some work to do.
Smith, Bijan, Ferguson, McLaurin, Joe Mixon.
No, Mixon already played.
No, Mixon already played. My bad.
Yeah, Mixon was one of his letdowns actually. But tough loss for the
Houston. Yeah, he could not. Yeah,
it's the Ravens.
They could not get
Ravens stifled him. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, they could not get a run going, which is sad.
So I mean,
yeah,
this can still go either way.
But I am grateful that I made the switch from from Noah Gray to Jake Ferguson, because Noah Gray did 1.4 or 1.9. Yeah, so that was a good move on my part.
Yeah, no, yeah, 1.6. So yeah, good move on your part there for certain. So no matter what you get, it can't be much worse. So yeah, if you got 0, it wouldn't kill you. But yeah, it just depends on what Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, that combo does. Jameer Gibbs is a stud now with no David Montgomery in there. Brock Bowers obviously having a great year.
Tyreek Hill is questionable though.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard's been doing a great job in Carolina too. So you're not out of the woods yet, brother. And Devontae Adams, again, just depends on what him and Aaron Rodgers could do at Buffalo, which could be a tough matchup.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, assuming they all play. There's some questionables in there, but yeah. So this
Trust me, I'm not sitting here thinking, oh yeah, I got this one in the bag. No, I'm like, there's still a good chance I could lose this. So
so this is what you're playing for, that $200, buddy. So
brother, Aaron, I told you, dude, if you somehow pull this off and you win, I expect a hell of a performance from you next year, your speech.
Oh yeah, every winner gets a speech if they want.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Fair enough.
Give a speech.
There better be trumpets.
You don't have to. There's been people
you walking in full set of armor. I don't give a shit.
That'd be great.
With a crown.
I donated my speech to Brandy.
What if I walk in with a pimp getup? The big
Jesus.
Big hat, the glasses, the cane.
I love Aaron.
Rings on every finger.
Get you a fake go-to.
I'll have to show you a picture of one of our former players who came in dressed in like a robe and a crowd.
Oh, that shit!
I'll have to show you that.
I have the video saved on my phone still. I'll have to show you that.
And I'll never forget Matt's photo with the garden gnome, which was taller than him. So that's
crazy work.
Santa.
I'm playing.
You remember when he got that toilet for Christmas, or got that toilet for losing? That was insane.
Yeah.
The little toilet trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, the last place trophy. Yeah, that was hilarious. But can someone explain to me, is anyone going to beat the Chiefs?
No.
Yeah, the Bills.
Well, yeah, they're the only one who's done it so far this season. But the Chiefs defeat the Steelers on Christmas Day to improve to 15-1, grab the number 1 seed in the AFC, and now they are playing good football, unlike what they've been doing the majority of this season. So, yeah, I mean, this is concerning if you're the rest of the league, or it seems like the Chiefs have finally found their groove, so to speak. So yeah, with Travis Kelce, I believe setting a tight end record that's surpassing, was it Tony Gonzalez? If I'm not mistaken?
Tony Gonzalez. Yeah.
So yeah, so there's a lot to be happy there if you're a Chiefs fan. But again, the refs have kind of been helping out the Chiefs. Here's footage of an incomplete pass that was ruled a completion.
Look at it. You'll see the tip of the ball hit
the tip of the ball hits the ground, but they gave the Chiefs the pass here against the Steelers. So again, it's just kind of one of those things too. Now,
it looks like a catch to me.
The tip of the ball
is not.
It's on the ground now. So
not.
I'm not a big football guy, but it does not look like he had control of that ball.
He did not.
He doesn't. Now, to the Chiefs' credit, they realized that, got up to the line of scrimmage and snapped the ball quickly before the Steelers could challenge. And that is the rule. You do have the ability to do that, but it just seems, again, refs missed another one with the Chiefs. So it's just kind of like, it seems like this is a weekly occurrence at this point. Chiefs always seem to have a little bit of help, whether that be purposefully or not. Your conspiracy theories could run wild.
And that's what makes it so bad, is you want to deny all this shit. You want to say, no. But at the same time, you continuously do shit that goes, really?
Yeah. Which is like, again, if they win 3 Super Bowls in a row, which is would be the first team in NFL history to do so. The Chiefs have currently won 3 out of their last 5. If they win this year, it'd be 4 out of the last 6. They're definitely a dynasty already. But again, if they win 3 in a row, it would definitely make you kind of go, maybe there's something to this whole rigged thing, which people talk about every single year, no doubt about it, especially when their team don't get the championship. So there's always some sore losers out there. But the evidence has kind of been reared its ugly head here and there. So
exactly.
I mean, it's hard to, kind of counteract it a little bit with some of the stuff that we've seen over the last few weeks and months. So, yeah, but the way I look at it, the sooner we accept the Chiefs are going to win 3 straight Super Bowls, it's going to hurt less. So I think we need to accept it and just, hopefully that Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid retire. or at least one of the two. It didn't go so well with Belichick after Brady left. But yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. But like we said earlier, the Christmas games on Netflix combined did 65 million viewers, so insane numbers. So expect more of that from the NFL and Netflix moving forward. No doubt about that. Elsewhere, though, for the Steelers, as I mentioned, with the Chiefs, obviously you're having a tough time of it here lately. The last month in particular, they lost games to the Ravens and the Chiefs in the last 2 weeks and going 2-4 in their last 6 games. So question for the Steeler fan here, Miranda. Time to bench Russell Wilson, or are you sticking with him now that you have secured a playoff spot? We don't know exactly where yet. I think the division's still up for grabs with the Ravens.
No.
Is it not?
No.
Okay,
Pittsburgh
well, they're at least in playoff contention, so they're going to be in the playoffs no matter what. But it's either him or Justin Fields, so you got to make a call.
You stick with him, not Justin Fields. Justin Fields isn't the guy to throw the ball down the field, period.
Wait. Was that
Magneto?
Hold on a second. I need a tape recorder to just record what Brandon just said.
It's the truth. Justin Fields is not the guy to throw the ball down the field.
Okay.
He's not.
He did win games early in the season.
For Ohio State.
Wait. But he's
he's
also
not Ohio State now.
Go back to that previous shot. Is that Magneto?
Where?
What?
On his jersey. Is that Magneto?
Oh, no. I don't know who that is. I'm sure they told during the broadcast, but I didn't see what it was.
It's
Magneto.
Sure does look like
Magneto. Either that or it's a watermark of some sort. I'm not sure. But anyway.
That's Magneto.
Who's this guy?
First of all,
Russell
the NFL is not going to let him put something like that on his shirt. Let's get that out the way.
I know what he is. It's the Pizza Express guy.
Anyway.
Focus.
No, you don't switch out to Justin Fields. It's not going to happen. Okay. Russell Wilson is still your key to victory. There's nobody who can throw the ball down the field and put that ball where it needs to be, period. The truth of the matter is they just need to play better. That's all it is. They have all the right pieces in the places right now. They just need to play better. And it's not like they're playing shitty. Th're still 10-5.
Yeah, they're still up in there. So we're going to talk about playoff positions.
It's not like no. Russell Wilson is the key to their success, and they fucking know that. Again, Justin Fields is good for a couple quick bang bang. You need the ball moved down a couple yards without using Najee or Warren. Justin Fields is your guy. But as far as throwing that ball down the field and to places only where receivers can catch it, to a guy who can simply catch any 50-50 ball you throw at him, Justin's not the guy to do it. And I'm not saying Justin isn't capable of it. He's just not the guy to do it.
Well, that is the experience level of Russell Wilson too. He's been to the big dance before, so it's like he that alone probably gives him the edge. And you have won games with him. You won games with Justin Fields earlier in the season too. But at the same time, I think at this point in the season, you probably got to write it out with your Russell Wilson personally. Mm-hmm. Do you have any thoughts on that, Miranda? I know you're the big Steelers fan. I don't want to kind of shut you out.
Yeah, I told Brandon the other day, unless it's Russell, I want a homegrown quarterback for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, just be prepared for the growing pains that may come because we're going through that now in Indy.
But this is what I was saying. Like, all these guys now are starting to wash out. All of the older guys of the NFL. You're getting a lot of these younger guys. Caleb Williams going through what he's going through. Bryce Young going through what he's going through and still growing.
CJ Stroud.
Kyler's still got a couple more years left in him. He's still relatively young too. Jaden Daniels.
Even he's starting to show. Well, not so much last week, but
again, but
he's got slowed down a little bit too. So,
but yeah, we're going to start seeing these younger guys. Russell Wilson is a great.
And they're going to develop. Yeah, they're going to get better.
You stick with Justin, he could be your future. Yeah, but you got to get somebody who can guide him.
Yeah, I agree with you. Which, by the way, speaking of new quarterbacks for Pittsburgh, it all depends on where Mike Tomlin is in his career, where he wants to go, if he wants to stick around for a lot longer or whatnot. I can't remember if they signed an extension or not with him.
They did.
But if he's talking about leaving at some point anytime soon, they'd probably come with a new head coach as well as a new quarterback if that were the case. So we'll have to wait and see. But
and I think I think we're all going to start experiencing that. These younger head coaches.
Well, hell, it was Manning, Brady, Roethlisberger, Rivers. Now it's like Mahomes, Allen. You know, we've got some younger guys coming up. You know, your Jalen Hurts. You know, there's other guys throughout the league who are starting to hit their stride. So it's going to happen with these younger guys too. With the next few years.
Burrow was going to be a guy we're going to have to deal with in the NFL for a while.
Now Justin Herbert's starting to come on a little bit.
Herbert, Josh Allen,
Hell,
Lamar,
Jared
Goff. These are guys that we're going to have to start as they're all coming, you know, either hitting their prime or starting to hit their prime or coming into that. Like, but then you got your guys like Dalton and Cousins and all, they're all starting to wash out. And Russell Wilson will unfortunately be another victim of that soon enough. But he's also a guy who's been there, done that for many years beforehand. So, like, you're going to get these issues where it's like, oh, we should swap. Nah, your young guy is going to be your young guy, and he's going to be your future. You just got to grow with it.
Yep.
I think that's where Justin Fields is as far as he will be Pittsburgh's future, but he ain't there right now.
Well, speaking of growing with it, the Indianapolis Colts defeated the Tennessee Titans 38-30 after almost blowing a 38-7 lead.
I was so pissed off.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, though, had a good day, rushing for 218 total yards and scoring 3 touchdowns on Matthew's bench in the fantasy league.
Thank you, Eric.
Well, for you. We were already eliminated from the playoff contention. There's no biggie.
Well, thanks for also telling everybody that, buddy.
Real quick.
I was too. I'm eliminated. But anyway.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah.
That character that's on his jersey is not Magneto.
Yeah,
it is Walter Payton, the NFL Man of the Year award.
Makes sense. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Good job.
Well, it's Magneto.
Check. It was Magneto. Anthony Richardson. Oh, Anthony Richardson in his game also had 70+ yards rushing himself. But our defense still can't maintain a lead, and the passing game is still very inconsistent. Anthony Richardson only threw 10 passes because the run game was working so well. However, Anthony Richardson made a nice, simple pass on 3rd and long to help put the game away in the 4th quarter, which he's known for his big, flashy, big playability. But this simple, boring play efficiency that can extend offensive drives hasn't been as good. It was just nice to see him improve a little bit there on a nice little out route that moved the chains. So that, in my opinion, is improvement. So I want to see more of that with him moving into next season. So
Brandon and Eric, are you guys noticing a common trend when the Colts win? Because I'm starting to notice one.
What?
That every time the Colts have won games this year, particularly close games, Anthony Richardson has had a very apparent either part of the run game, or he has rushed for over 60 yards.
So, like I said before, when I was talking about this, when we were talking about Anthony Richardson, that whole situation when he tapped out and all this other shit, and then he came back or whatever the case may be. I said you have to start playing to a person's strengths. You can't keep putting people in positions that they're not used to being in and expecting to get something out of them. It's not going to fucking happen. If you don't utilize the person of what they're good at, then what's the fucking point of using them?
Correct.
If you're not going to play to a man's strengths and set him up to succeed at something you want him to succeed at, he's not going to. He's going to be a failure in your eyes all the fucking time because he can't do the thing that you want him to do the way you want him to do it. He just doesn't operate like that. Nothing is more apparent in that situation in sports. If you can't do it this way, but I've been successful. If you see me successful doing things this way, why change that? And I get the whole thing of adapting, adding stuff in, but you can do it to where it's around my capability of doing it with also accentuating what I can do.
Yeah. Well, no, you knew when you drafted him, he wasn't the best, most accurate thrower. You knew that. So
but you knew how to play around it. So, like, what are we doing?
Well, the problem is if the run game doesn't work for the Colts right now, they don't have any other game. So everybody plays the run. Unfortunately for the Titans, not everybody can stop Jonathan Taylor or Anthony Richardson. So
at the same time, too, then that's also something too. And like him throwing the ball and you catching balls that you should catch because that's what you should do. That's also an issue there too. So if you're gonna put the blame on him, you better put it on the receivers because I don't give a fuck what I could throw the ball right to you. If you don't catch it, that's on you, not me.
Yeah, I don't know how many balls I've seen just bounce off receivers' chests this year. So in that case, it's not Anthony Richardson's fault. But I mean, like I said, I think there is some steady improvement there to build on. I don't know if he's going to play this week. He's currently questionable right now. Anthony Richardson may be out this week. I think a little bit of a back injury. So we'll have to wait and see. But especially if the Colts lose this week, there's no reason to play the rest of the season just because they're not going anywhere and just keep him healthy for next year. So in my opinion, they may end up benching him in week 18. So we'll have to wait and see. But the Colts at least have 2 more games on their schedule. They're still technically in playoff contention, but they need a lot of help. So I'm not really entertaining the idea at this point. But
this is hilarious.
I know.
Reading this shit. That's hilarious.
Yeah, this is basically the way it is. There's another one down here. I don't know what it says. So I get my hopes up. I get disappointed. I start to believe again. So yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of the way it rolls here. Which again, you can say that for 31 other teams in the NFL. Only one team at the end of the year is going to be the happy team.
Jesus
Unfortunately,
Christ.
it's going to be the Chiefs this year. But as the playoffs currently right now, as they stand, the AFC playoffs look like this. The Chiefs are the number 1 seed. They've clinched that. The Bills have clinched the division and a playoff berth. The Ravens have clinched a playoff berth, and the Steelers have clinched a playoff berth. But again, the Steelers and the Ravens have the same amount of wins. So, yeah, I think the division still is open.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't
Steelers.
notice that. Yeah.
So if that's the case, the Steelers still could win the division and secure the higher seed and get a home game. So,
Because
hang in there, Steelers fans. Yeah. I don't know how the tiebreaker is between teams. I know the Ravens beat them once.
And they beat the Ravens once.
Well, if that's the case, it may be time to come down to common opponents and things like that. So, but the Texans, they ran away with this terrible division. The Colts are so bad they can't even do that, right? But technically, it's weird because the Colts are 2 games out in the division, but the Texans beat us twice. So it doesn't matter if we win and Texans lose both games. The Texans have clinched the division. But the Colts can maybe squeeze in the Broncos or the Chargers spot if the Chargers and the Broncos lose out and the Colts win out in certain scenarios. So the Dolphins, Bengals, and Colts are not technically eliminated just yet, but it's almost there and getting awful close. If the Chargers or Broncos win this week, it's not looking good for any of those teams on the bubble. As for the NFC, though, we've got the Detroit Lions who've clinched the number 1 seed.
As they should.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Hold on.
I don't know. These last couple of weeks have been rough.
Actually, I'm not sure they clinched it just yet because the Minnesota Vikings have the same record, but it may depend on divisional.
Poor Seattle.
When they played each other, maybe they may have the number 1 seed. This one here says they do, but anyway. But yeah, so the Eagles are the number 2 seed right at the moment. It looks like the only one who could catch them would be Minnesota, but they can't do that due to the fact the top 4 seeds win the division and get in the top 4. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be Eagles at 2, and then it gets a little murkier with the 3 and 4 seeds based on the bad divisions.
Yeah,
the Rams and the Falcons.
Atlanta is crazy right now.
The Seahawks and the Bucks are not out in those divisions yet either. But Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit, all 10 wins or more in the same division. And then, of course, the Washington Redskins with 10 wins too. So it's definitely heating up in the NFC. The NFC's got some good clubs.
Yeah, I would say that division is crazy right now.
Which one?
I don't understand how the Falcons
and the
Rams are still in that division.
Well, the Rams are in their own division, but they're leading the Seahawks by a game, and the Falcons are leading the Bucks, I think, on a tiebreaker right now. That's the reason. Those could flip easily in the next 2 weeks if something were to happen with those 2 teams. So those are the ones to keep an eye on.
The NFC is crazy work.
The only way the Seahawks and the Bucks are in is if they win the division. They're not catching the wild card teams. I don't think.
Not even close.
Not even close. So they've got some work to do. And if they play each other the final week of the year, those games could be a win-and-in situation. So we'll have to wait and see how that gets flexed and stuff like that. So as for the week 17 games, obviously toward this time of year, we're just kind of waiting for the playoffs to get here after the holidays and stuff. We got this week and next, where a lot of teams will be resting their starters heading into the playoffs. But any of these games jump out to you?
Colts game.
Yeah. But again, the Colts are playing for a playoff spot technically.
Stinker.
I don't see the Chargers losing again. Well, let me take that back.
Against New England?
Yeah, because New England's been playing some ball.
So,
yeah, but they've been playing some ball.
Yeah, they have. They've been playing
New
good
England
under John
Chargers game might be a sleepy one.
Maybe sleepy one.
It might be a sleepy one.
That Rams Cardinals game.
There's actually the Broncos and Bengals play on Saturday, which is interesting. It's actually and the Rams and Cardinals on Saturday too. So I didn't realize that. So yeah,
was the Chargers and the Patriots Saturday as well.
Oh wow, there's 3 games. Good lord.
Yeah, there's 3 games Saturday.
Well, I know I'm gonna have on the background. We're playing D&D tomorrow. So yeah, then Sunday game.
Man, that's Sunday game.
Hey, there's a chance we might be stopping at like 7. So
that's fine. I kind of was hoping we'd stop by that anyway. There is a wrestling pay-per-view tomorrow night I'd like to watch.
Brother.
So we'll see. But yeah, I do want to play.
I certainly hope that we can get through this little quest tomorrow. But if we don't, it's fine. But it was originally supposed to be a 1-2 shot, and if we go another session, it'll be a 4 shot. So
Right on. Well, we'll see what happens there for sure. All right. Well, I guess that leaves nothing else tonight but the politics. So I don't have a whole lot tonight, so we're not too far off of being done. So hang in there, guys. But yeah, let's get into the news and politics. So, like I said, do it all night long. The best and worst moments of 2024. I'm assuming most of us in politics are going to agree that the best moment of 2024 is indeed the fact that Donald Trump won re-election.
Yeah.
Agreement there, and possibly avoiding that bullet. That might be a good moment as well. Could have very well been a tragic one. So
Kamala losing, that was good.
That might have been the best moment.
Yeah. I mean,
Him
it could have easily been the worst moment of 2024. Regardless whether you like the man or not, having the guy lose his life would have been horrific. And if you think it was a good thing, you need to really look in the mirror and check yourself because holy crap. And I can say that about anybody like that. But as of the worst moment of the year, obviously, basically anything Joe Biden has done in office, in my opinion, personally, there's not a whole lot of good there. I know our friend Mike on the channel a few weeks back when Trump was elected asked us whether or not we could think of some good things Donald Trump did in his term in office, and it's really hard to find anything positive.
You mean Joe?
Yeah, Joe. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, Trump's done a lot of good in my opinion. Hopefully, he'll do more the next 4 years. But yeah, Joe, it's been awful rough. Now, as of my personal host for 2000, what's that?
He gave us some good laughs.
That's for sure. He made the show fun.
Like Booty Juice.
Booty Juice. True International Under Pressure is my favorite one. Yeah. So if you don't know what I'm talking about,
line is wild.
It's wild for sure. But as for my hopes for 2025, my biggest one is, of course, the elimination of income taxes. Hopefully that happens. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Like I said,
that'd be dope.
Fall into place. Or no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. All these things Trump's hoping to be able to accomplish. But again, he needs help from Congress in order to get some of that stuff done. So hopefully we can get all that done and take care of it. It'll definitely make everybody a lot more rich here in this country and be able to afford a lot more things, despite the fact he's probably going to be using tariffs to get a lot of that done. Yes, it could potentially raise the prices of some goods, potentially, but the fact that we'll have more money in our pockets, it's not going to make that big of a deal at the end of the day. So it won't be that bad.
I mean, as far as I understand it, it's just going to make anything that comes from overseas more expensive. So if you're going to order stuff from Temu, or I think Wayfair is also another one that's overseas,
or any product that's made overseas that's sold here.
Listen,
but at the same time, it's not
ordering things from Temu. Trust me.
But see, he wants to take back the Panama Canal too. So
we're going to talk about at the end of the show. But yes, and I'd like to know more about that by then from you because I don't know a whole lot about it. So I want you to if you have any news on it. But no, I mean, the tariffs, it won't be that big of a deal in the long run, in my opinion. It's just that we got to remember this is the way we funded the government before the early 1900s when the Federal Reserve was made, things like that. So it's very well possible to do it, and it will help people in the long run. You just got to wait and see. But don't believe all the fear mongering that's going on out there.
Yeah.
But I thought we'd start off the politics section with something a little bit more fun and hilarious, in my opinion. Let's listen to this woman here who thinks that Joe Biden is no longer the president after the election and doesn't understand that Donald Trump is not currently in office until January 20th.
Donald Trump has been our president for over a month and hasn't done one damn thing. All that he promised us Americans to get us to vote for him. Gas prices are still high. Still can't afford a carton of eggs. TikTok is getting banned next month. There are still illegals coming in. Yeah. You can still go unalive your unborn child just because you decided to open your legs, not for any good reason. All these reasons that Americans have voted for Trump, and he hasn't done one damn thing. He isn't even in the White House yet, and he's been our president for over a month. Biden is the one holding press conferences
because he's still president
and acting like our president. Like Biden is not our president
She's
anymore.
Gotta be trolling.
She gotta be bullshitting. There ain't no way you is dumb, big dog.
Trump promised. I totally regret my vote.
So she was actually a Trump voter, which is interesting to me. So, I mean, not the brightest in the bull or brightest bulb in the shed, as it were. Yeah, brightest crayon on the
I
box.
think it's
Or wherever you want
sharpest
to put it.
tool in the shed.
Yeah, there you go. Sharpest tool in the shed. Thank you. Whatever.
Ain't no way, man. Dog. Go get off of TikTok. First of all, go touch grass.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
For sure. But the main topic I wanted to talk about tonight, obviously, is President Elon Musk. That's the new media talking point. The left-wing media is running with the narrative that Elon Musk is the one actually in charge, saying that the billionaire is an unelected oligarch and Donald Trump is Elon Musk's puppet. So
listen, we gotta stop fucking with AI.
I know,
this
right?
is out of line.
It makes the show more entertaining, in my opinion.
This picture's out of pocket.
For sure. But I mean, come on. Now the media thinks that, Elon Musk is an unelected oligarch and he's basically telling Trump what to do. Well, here's one of our favorites over on CNN, Scott Jennings, and he basically laughs in this entire narrative's face and talks about how this is ridiculous.
Is this going to wear thin with Donald Trump soon?
I don't think so. I mean, look, they appear to be getting along well. Musk was very instrumental in his victory. And I hear Democrats, criticizing the idea that we have unelected people with too much influence over the government. I invite them to pick up the Wall Street Journal from this week and find out that unelected people have been running the government for the last 4 years. I hear Democrats criticizing the influence of billionaires on our politics when you've got this Soros punk running around collecting Democrat politicians like my kids collect Pokemon cards. So I think all the criticism of Musk coming from the left is totally hypocritical, totally over the top. And he is doing something interesting, bringing some transparency to the federal government. It's not a terrible thing.
But it's and again, billionaires, when you're a Democrat, that's okay. When you're Elon Musk or a billionaire supporting Republicans, you're bad and evil. That's just the way it goes.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Why would you worry about being president of the United States when you're already emperor of Mars?
Fair. Man, I wish I had that AI image.
That's like trying to be the mayor of like Bloomfield, but you're the president of the United States. Just kind of an example.
Pretty much. I mean, this here meme is the same meme as earlier during the AEW segment, but this time it's with the MAGA hat. So, I mean, it's the same sort of situation. Haters go to hate, that sort of thing. So, before Donald Trump, Elon Musk is now a billionaire who's an unelected oligarch and Trump's the puppet. But before, Trump was a fascist dictator and literally Hitler, but he's now Elon puppet and a shadow president. The joke is the media at this point. The media is. I mean, it makes no damn sense. And on top of that, Donald Trump got a little bit of a laugh out of this. He responded to the whole narrative that Elon Musk is the actual president. Here's what he had to say about that.
Alive, so we want to thank him. But no, he's not going to be president, that I can tell you. And I'm safe. You know why? He can't be. He wasn't born in this country. But the fake news knows that.
Yeah, the fake news know it, but they're just going to, but they're saying he's an unelected oligarch.
I was going to ask that if you have dual citizenship.
No.
You have to be a full-blooded American.
Natural born.
That's why Arnold could never run for president when he was governor.
Unless your last name's Barack Obama.
Yeah, well,
yes.
But conspiracy go to conspiracy, I guess. Whatever.
That's not a conspiracy.
There's too many.
Oh, believe me, I tend to believe that too. I'm just saying that some people are going to say that's what that is, but yeah, it's stupid. But
Trump offered him $25,000 to produce his birth certificate.
He won't do it.
And that was in like 2007.
But it's all important to get Trump's tax returns, though. When it comes to
Yeah.
birth certificates. And by the way, it showed that Trump had paid his taxes in full, and I believe it did some when they finally released them. So, funny how that works. But the only reason the media are saying this whole President Elon Musk thing is to try and drive a wedge between Musk and Donald Trump. That's all it's for. Plain and simple. Don't believe the BS. However, while a wedge may not be happening, a potential divide might be, but not between Trump and Elon Musk, as far as I'm aware, but between Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and the MAGA voter supporter base. This is a little bit long, but bear with me here. This all has to do with H-1B visas. This is Lou Valentino on his YouTube channel explaining what's going on. That's got some MAGA supporters all mad at Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy of Doge.
All right, guys. So I had to come and make a live stream about this because this is the biggest topic right now. And boy, are a lot of people showing their true colors with this one. I really got to get your thoughts on this H-1B situation when it comes to legal immigration and the hiring of high-tech, tech bro immigration. Look, even CNN is laughing at this whole situation, but it's a very, very serious topic, and a lot of people are turning on Vivek and Elon Musk. MAGA versus Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. It's a conversation I didn't think we were going to be having, but it's a conversation we have to have. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, right now we're watching a crack between Trump's top advisors and the MAGA base. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to play this video from CNN because CNN is having a crazy time with this. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this because apparently a lot of people on the right and MAGA are basically saying that they're done with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk because of this. And I want to get your thoughts on this because I'm not done with anybody over this. In fact, I think this is a real good conversation to have. And let's see what your thoughts is on this. This is about to get pretty crazy because it's getting pretty wild on X. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with X, but boy, oh boy, is this conversation I just want to have it. Maybe I'll bring some of you guys up here to let me know exactly how you feel about this situation. And we're going to be talking to MAGA themselves, people who claim to be MAGA versus people who are not really MAGA. Is the microphone
crackdown when he takes office 25
No, I'm only playing this CNN portion because this is Caitlin Collins, who's not always truthful on CNN for certain. She always tries to do the gotcha stuff with Trump too. However, in this report, I think she's telling the truth to the best that we know of this story so far. So
days from now, we're seeing a crack between some of his top advisors and his MAGA base. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are both facing major blowback from their own supporters for not only backing, but encouraging offering more visas to highly skilled foreign workers. Over the Christmas holiday, Musk posted this online saying, think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they may be.
That's
He
right.
later added, I'm referring.
Man, that pissed off a lot of people. So Elon Musk is looking at America as a sports team. And he's basically saying we need to hire the best. Right now, the best are from other countries. And this literally comes after Trump appointed someone who is of Indian descent. Laura Loomer came out and she was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? I don't like what's going on. But what do you guys think about Elon Musk saying that? This is all true. This is coming from CNN, but CNN is reporting this very accurately because this is exactly what's going on. This is the meltdown over what Elon Musk said about bringing in via legal immigration the top 0.1% of engineering talent. Engineering talent. Let's take a listen.
To bringing in via legal immigration the top 0.1% of engineering talent as being essential for America to keep winning. He's talking about H-1B visas, which allow employers to hire highly skilled foreign workers. Musk, who himself is from South Africa, said that he once had this kind of visa, and he's arguing that Silicon Valley is facing a shortage of excellent engineering talent, as he put it. But the annual cap on those kinds of visas.
Silicon Valley, aka the United States of America, is not producing big-time tech bros. Basically, he's saying that we right now in the United States of America, and we're going to get to what Vivek Ramaswamy said, but he's basically saying we're not producing the best people in the world right now. And if we want to be the best right now, as Trump wants to be the best right now, then we might have to look across and out of the country. And boy, oh boy. And look, you guys are paying attention to what Caitlin Collins is saying. She's just right now, she's accurately reporting this because this is what's going on.
Visas right now is at 65,000, then another 20,000 for those who get a master's or a doctorate in the U.S. Musk is being backed up by his partner in Trump's government efficiency initiative, Vivek Ramaswamy. He says it's a cultural issue that there aren't more competitive engineers in the U.S. Here's what he said online. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ. Or the-
Woo! Oh, this pissed off a lot of people. Oh, my God. So this is what Vivek said on his X account, and this is why a lot of people really are not on his side right now. Somebody said, stop on my bullshit. This is what's going on X. You could think that I'm making this up. I'm not making any of this stuff up. I wanted to come on here to have a conversation with you guys about this. This is what's going on right now on X. This is the conversation that's being had. And this is what Vivek Ramaswamy said himself on X. You know what I'm saying? This is what he said himself on X. You could act like this is not existent, but this is what he says. He says a culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. So basically, he's criticizing the United States of America for not producing the best engineers. And that's why Elon Musk needed to treat this like a sports team instead of anything else. Americans are mad, pissed off at the fact that this is the stance that they're taking. Why not value, or why not put first American engineers and make this something better? Elon also went to X and he said, hey, if you have to start a school now that teaches Americans how to be the best engineers, stop, Gigi, it's okay. It teaches Americans how to be the best engineers, then we've already lost the plot. So basically, he's saying that America's already kind of lost the plot on this. And we kind of just have to move on to be the best. That's the route that we have to take.
The jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World, or Zach and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel and Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. But that argument is not going over well with Trump's MAGA base, certainly not online. Some of them saying, we did not ask them to engineer an immigration policy. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers. You don't even know what MAGA immigration policy is. Now, Trump himself, who I should note, restricted.
Well, this one's the one that basically took over. I want you guys to read this one up here from Laura Loomer. She says, and maybe some of you guys agree with this, maybe some of you guys don't, but Laura Loomer responded to Vivek Ramaswamy saying that Vivek Ramaswamy knows that the great replacement theory is real. So does J.D. Vance. It's not racist. It's not being racist against Indians to want original MAGA policies that I voted for. I voted for a reduction of the H-1B visas, not an extension. And I would happily say it to their face because there's nothing inflammatory about it. I said everything I said is true. If India was so high skilled, people would stay there instead of flocking over to the United States of America. What do you guys think about that? Because that one's causing a lot of, that was pretty crazy. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz says, we welcome the tech bros when they came running our way to avoid third grade teacher picking their kids' gender. And they obviously, and the obvious Biden-Harris economic decline. We did not ask them to engineer an immigration policy, which I agree with. I agree with that. I agree with a lot of the things that they're saying here. American workers can leave a company. Imported says Ann Coulter, H-1B workers can't. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers. It might be another point there. Let's keep listening.
MAGA immigration policy is. Now, Trump himself, who I should note restricted H-1B visas in his first term, has said on the campaign trail this time around that he did want to make it easier for educated foreigners to work in the U.S.
What I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college. I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card to be able to stay in this country. And that includes junior colleges too. Anybody graduates from a college, you go in there for 2 years or 4 years. If you graduate or you get a doctorate degree from a college, you should be able to stay in this country.
That's what Trump said himself. Apparently, the base didn't realize, a lot of people that I remember this, so I know this. I know that Trump was very much in favor of bringing it back. And there he is having a conversation with tech bros, David Sachs, who is now the crypto czar as well. But this has brought a crazy side that, man, I got to say, I've seen some of the craziest X posts in the world, basically saying that Vivek Ramaswamy is more loyal to his Indian heritage than he is to America. And they're also pointing out, like I got to say, the only reason I'm showing this because I've seen this too much everywhere. Guys, somebody said we should have seen the warning signs coming. They had an Indian person speaking at the RNC. J.D. Vance's wife is Indian. Now, I find this all disgusting, by the way. It's all disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
But this is what's coming out. Vivek and, of course, and Trump being Indian. Man, I got to say, it's been one of the craziest days I've ever seen in my entire life.
So, anybody got some thoughts initially hearing some of this?
This is all stupid.
Yeah, well,
It sounds like a load of horse shit.
And I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's.
Laura Loomer's been with Trump at Mar-a-Lago so much lately. I think this is all to get this stuff out. There's another person I follow on X that did a little bit more digging into the H-1B visas, and Amazon hired 24 or 2,600 people on them. They weren't engineers. They were just warehouse jobs. So companies are doing this, and it's coming from China. The office, like the head office, is in China. So as passionate as Elon is about it, I think it was to draw attention to it, to make sure that it gets fixed in the future and we can get better engineers and stuff here, because let's face it, our doctors are compromised. They've been taught by pharmaceutical companies that they just need to push drugs. We don't save lives, we just push drugs. So we need smart people.
Like I said earlier, when I heard about this, like, what are you talking about? You call a spade a spade. You want to act like we're not. Our education system is trash. I don't give a fuck what you say or how you think about it. Like, it's fucking ass. We're not gonna get anywhere. Why do you think these other countries are? Let's take Japan for example. Literally one of the most technologically advanced. Like, it's insane. The shit that they're doing over there for entertainment purposes. Like, again, I've watched these videos. You could see the technology that's built around this fucking place, but yet they still find a way to hold on to a lot of their grassroots and where they're from. Never forget any of
And
this
they
shit.
don't eat processed food.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing.
They
Their
go to
food
school.
is-
How many times? How I forget. Like, is it 10-hour days or some shit like that?
12 hours, I
Yeah,
believe.
but you gotta. We can't send our kids to school
No,
for 10
I'm
hours
not
a day
saying.
and expect them to. That's
I'm
a
not saying
cultural
that.
thing.
But like, again, when I was telling you about this earlier, like, that's why so many of these Indians, essentially, I mean, they're it's kind of a stereotype, but it is the truth. They get pushed to be doctors or lawyers or engineers because they're trying to escape where they are for other reasons, but with an education that allows them to come here to another place where they can flourish and thrive. It also makes our lives better. We don't. He said it himself. Listen, I went to high school. You were in high school. Nobody cared about the nerd in the back of the room. No one gave a shit about that guy.
Nope.
Not enough to care about what he could do for the future. Nobody gave a fuck. It was about the dude who either threw the football, caught the football, or who was banging the most bitches. Let's be real.
Fair.
Like, I'm not. Am I bullshitting here?
Yeah, and the point he's making is those type of people are not the ones who are going to succeed.
What clubs were popular when you had those in high school? It wasn't the fucking chess room. It wasn't the computer guys.
No.
Glee Club.
No, I was the one in the band, so a lot of people have the negative stigma on band members too. So I get it.
But you get what I'm saying. So like, let's stop with the everybody's all shocked. Shut the fuck up.
Well, let me. Oh, go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
Hold on a second.
Okay. Well, while you're waiting, I'll come back. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, okay. Trump said it before when he talked about immigration. He talked about bringing the best people in here, and I feel like this is just an extension of that, bringing the best people in here.
0.1%.
Basically, they're showing you, hey, it was used for this purpose, not the purpose that they want to use it for. They want the best out of this reason. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this program is set up for the best. This is what we need to use it for. This is not what it's being currently fucking used for. This is what it's being currently used for. But this is what happens when you use that resource the right way.
And how's this any different than what we do with our Olympic team?
Exactly. A lot of those motherfuckers aren't even.
Our Olympic team, I'm pretty sure, are from other countries.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
well, let me give you my take on this, and I want you to tell me if I'm off base, because admittedly, I'm going on what I've just read about today. I hadn't heard anything about this till today. But I can see a little bit what Elon and Vivek are saying. In order to get America to where we want it to go, we need qualified tech-savvy engineers that America may currently not have as long as they're legal. Personally, I have no issue with legal migrants if it's based on merit and if they can assimilate and put our country first. And hopefully we can trade Americans in the meantime for these jobs. But many in the MAGA movement hear this news and they immediately just think they took our jobs.
Yeah.
Mark. They get concerned that they want cheap labor and not give those jobs to Americans first. And I also agree with that. But if Americans aren't qualified, then we are no better than all this DEI crap out there, hiring solely because you're an American and not based on merit. So America definitely doesn't rank the highest in education. Is it Elon and Vivek's fault that the American education system has failed its students?
Yes.
Look at the things going on at the place you guys work. The engineers that put the line together.
That whole fucking situation is
That is a
crazy.
perfect example of how dumb these people are.
But you see my point about how if we say now that we don't want the most qualified to work, we might as well just say you got to hire a white American because that's the way to do it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way to do the job.
Yeah.
You know how
But that's
hypocritical that
essentially
makes
what you're
MAGA
saying.
sound if they just say that now?
Yeah.
Because it becomes a delicate balance between getting the most qualified for the job and putting America first. But what we don't want to happen is to make this a race thing.
But that's what it's going to get turned into.
Yeah. Let's see here. Because Elon is South African and Vivek is Indian. And sadly, it's already become that in some corners of social media. But I say knock it off. You can't sit there and preach to the left and Democrats that you have no problem with immigration as long as it's legal, and then turn around and get mad when legal immigrants who are more qualified for a job come here seeking opportunity. Am I off base, or is that pretty much?
No, you pretty much nailed it.
No, as long as companies are using it for those reasons. But
Yes.
like Amazon
Yes,
or somebody else, then we got a problem.
If they're using it for cheap labor, yes, then we got more of a problem. That's different. But I think a lot of people heard this, and that's what they're assuming that they're doing is using it for cheap labor. That way, they got to pay Americans. But hopefully, that is not the case. But
they literally stated this.
Well, I was going to say, Laura Loomer has lost her blue check mark from X.
I saw that.
Lost her subscriptions. So I don't know why they're letting it get so far, but
yeah, I don't know. And there are times with Laura Loomer, I think there are times where I think that she speaks a lot of sense. Or other times I wonder if she's a little bit of a crackpot. There are it just depends.
I don't ever remember her ever having to retract a story. Her delivery is a little off the wall.
I'll give you that.
But I don't think she's telling any lies.
I did see something about in regards to the
saying,
blue check. Yeah, in regards to blue check and the subscriptions, I heard somewhere that it was probably an algorithmic change, but then why did it only affect her? That I'm aware of.
Yeah, and it's
So I don't
telling her subscribers that she canceled her subscription.
Yes.
So
I don't know. But if Elon's, I don't think, because it's got a lot of people online saying, well, I thought you were okay with free speech, Elon, but now you're, doing this with Laura Loomer. It's got people going, well, you're a bit hypocritical. And if he is,
yeah, when I
then
first
kinda
seen it
is.
this morning, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cancel my subscription.
I saw
That's
the
what
story. I
we
was like,
do
what the
now,
hell is
right?
happening right now?
Eric,
Yeah, I know. It's been a fucking
Eric, the
whirlwind.
person who I voted for, which you can criticize me as you want to, was a lot of people consider him a felon, and
He's not.
which he's not. I might add.
Wrong about that.
It is the president of the United States.
About to be.
He's
not yet.
Yeah, he's not yet.
He's
Remember
president
that.
elect right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
He will be the president of the United States.
24 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Exactly.
God.
Well, let's move on from this. Hopefully, they can get this sorted out because one thing we don't need is division within our own party. I know we've already got enough problems with the rhinos and stuff like that.
But you're giving that's exactly what you're giving them. Like,
Yeah.
you're
giving the left
taking something
ammo.
that it's not a big deal, but they're making it a big deal, and we're just letting them make it a big deal. Like,
Yeah, that's too. So everybody needs to cool their jets a little bit, and let's just see where this goes. But to kind of wrap up, we got some other little small stories tonight. Last week, while we were off, ABC and George Stephanopoulos have been forced to pay Donald Trump $15 million in a settlement of a defamation lawsuit where George Stephanopoulos kept stating to Representative Nancy Mace that Trump was found liable for rape, which is a lie. Trump was found liable for sexual assault, which could be a litany of things, just so much as he brushed up against her in a bad way or something. That is not the same thing as being found liable for rape. But of course, he went on, and there's a video here, which I'll probably just, for the sake of time, we'll probably won't play it. But you can find George Stephanopoulos talking to Nancy Mace, where he constantly repeats the lie that he was found liable for rape. And so Donald Trump decided to sue him, and he has now won that lawsuit in a settlement. So, yes. So in that regard, sorry, buddy. Got to pay it up when you start lying like that out there. And hopefully you'll do this to more people who've been lying about him over the years. This week, we also got the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, says the missing children that have come over the border and things like that are in this country are not their responsibility at the Homeland Security. Most of these children have been trafficked, mind you. Here's Secretary Mayorkas telling you it isn't their problem.
ICE was also unable to account for more than 32,000 unaccompanied kids who failed to appear in court from 2019 to 2023, according to the report we read. The incoming border czar, Tom Homan, says these children are being exploited and trafficked. Is that true?
Well,
Do
we
you
certainly, Margaret, we certainly have received reports of children being trafficked, even those as to whom we know where they are. That is outside the responsibility of the Department of Homeland Security.
Mhm.
What we do is we turn children over within 72 hours, as the law requires, to the Department of Health and Human Services, and then HHS places those children. Of course, we investigate cases of trafficking, but there are children who are reunited with a parent here in the United States or a legal guardian, and they move, and sometimes the government loses track. Individuals do not comply with the reporting obligations or otherwise. I think it is inaccurate to say that all of them are trafficked or victimized. There are a number of reasons why we might lose track of an individual. That is not necessarily specific to this administration. That has been a long-standing challenge in the immigration system. One example of why that system is so broken, why the duration of time in proceedings is unacceptably long and has to be remedied. Remember, we're dealing with a system that was last reformed in 1996.
So, yeah, I mean, what do you think about that?
And they were in power for how long, and they didn't do shit to fix it.
Yeah. This is outside the responsibility of the Department of Homeland Security. Then what the hell is your responsibility then?
Yeah.
That's my question.
So if I don't pay my taxes, I can be hunted down and they will find me. But they can't find these sex trafficked children. Huh. Makes you wonder if they're involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
All I can say is, like Miranda said a while ago, 24 more days. 24
There's
more days.
there's a lot of
It's like that $1 billion that went missing.
Yeah, probably in Iran.
It's convenient when things just disappear.
Yeah. On a bit more of a sadder note, which don't worry, we'll pick it back up a little bit here before the end of the show. But tragedy struck over the holidays as a person driving a car, what looked to be about 80 miles per hour plus, into a Christmas market crowd in Germany, killed 11, I think, and injuring about at least 60. Well, I won't be showing the footage here on the channel, though, because it's just too graphic. But if you can find it, this car completely mowed over these people going about 80 miles an hour on purpose. But the media doesn't want to tell you it was some crazy driver, just that a car ran into these people. If you look at these headlines, you can clearly see it just says, car drives into Christmas market, vehicle plows into crowd, car drives into crowd. Hello, this car did not drive itself. Soon they'll be calling for car control. Just like we've always said, it's not a weapon problem. It's a heart in the human being problem. And then, of course, it's also a media problem for not reporting things accurately in their headlines as well. But again, for whatever reason, they don't want you to know that some crazy lunatic decided to mow down a bunch of Christmas market goers in Germany. So that was terrible to see.
It's so sad. People, I really hope people aren't doing this for attention. And like
in some way and form it is, but I get what you mean.
It's really sad.
Oh, it's real sad.
You know, I mean,
you want to talk about sad? This next story is heartbreaking to me.
This is crazy work.
a lot of you have probably seen here in the United States, an illegal immigrant set a woman on fire on a subway train in New York City this last week. Again, I won't be showing the footage, but you can find it online if you definitely want to see it. It's something to see because it's disturbing. But literally, the man who set her on fire sat there, watched her burn, and then literally went up to her, took his jacket or whatever, and tried to fan the flames till she burned more. It was disgusting, and not a single cop or subway, security guard stepped in at once to try to put this woman out. It was the saddest thing. All they did, people online, was taking video of it and posting it to X and TikTok and stuff like that. It was so sick. But again, the media downplayed it, saying that she just caught fire on a subway car. I guess she just spontaneously combusted then, if you believe the media out there. So yeah, this is just disgusting. But
This is fucking wild.
I consider this a terrorist attack.
Well, a lot of arsonists like to watch their work. Like they'll be sitting there watching a building burn.
That dude was drunk.
Eric.
No, she was too, according to the reports.
This is the second arson. That's the first.
There was another one.
Arsonry,
there's
which
one.
I may get to that in a little bit, but I get to my point. There's been 2 arsonry. I'm starting to notice a pattern.
No, that's we'll see, but I don't know if there's any connected.
Listen to me. They've got these guys in America now. They've got these immigrants in America now, and now they're going to start doing their random acts of violence and shit.
But
This
that's
is
been
a
happening.
plan. This is not something. Miranda, you'll agree with me.
It's been happening, bro.
Planned.
Yeah,
it's been going on for a while.
Yeah, but he's right.
You're right.
They're sleeper cells, and they'll probably it'll be happening more.
Yeah, and hopefully they don't get a call and just start going nuts, everybody all at once.
Tom Homan and Trump are loud about it. These people are going to get rounded up and sent back. They're going to.
And again, if you read if you read the, obviously the headlines, it actually mentioned that it was a human being who set the woman on fire and she just didn't spontaneously combust. They talk about how it was a migrant. They don't want to tell you it was an illegal migrant, first of all, because they don't want you to know that, because this particular illegal migrant was apparently deported under Donald Trump and got back in the country under Joe Biden. So again, it's just the media tried to cover up for the lies and the lack of security at our border under the Biden administration, for sure. But on a little bit more of a funnier note, speaking of tragedies, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, continues to embarrass himself when he was doing a, I think it was some sort of, interview or whatever. I think Governor Gavin Newsom was on this call as well. But he's basically talking about how, they need to get rid of the Electoral College and all this stuff. But let's listen to what he has to say.
I never, to your question, I never became active until wanting to make sure that, first of all, I was devastated. I want to get rid of the Electoral College because Hillary beat him by 3 million votes, just a shy under 3 million. And Gore beat W by 500,000. And it's making me crazy because I started reading about the Electoral College. And, oh my God, this is a remnants of slave days when they were trying to, proportion the amount of votes with, how many slaves you owned. And it was awful. But anyway, so that and Citizens United, I'd like to get rid of. But in any case, I started, as you said, you get most scorching hate tweets from the MAGA crowd. And when I was still on Twitter, I had to stop reading the responses. I wouldn't block anyone because then they could display Mark Hamill blocked you as a badge of honor. But I muted like a mofo. I would mute, I looked up one day and I said, oh my God, I've been muting people for 40 minutes.
So he then retreated to Blue Sky, which is the left-wing echo chamber right now, because they no longer have total control over X or Twitter. But number one, Miranda, do you know anything about the Electoral College being started due to the amount of slaves you owned? Or I always understood it as it was just because the amount of population the state had. I mean, this is the first time. I could be wrong.
I may have heard something before about that.
I'll have to look into that more. But when I first heard him say this, I'm like, that doesn't sound like, I don't know where you're getting it, but I'll give him a benefit of the doubt on it. But at the same time,
correctly, it was the Democrats originally that were for slavery.
Well, yeah, they're the ones who protested. That's basically why Abraham Lincoln got shot.
That is a history thing. That is not something I just made up for this podcast.
No, but the Electoral College is a total different thing when it comes to that. But yeah, if they use slaves, it's a little different. But we'll look into that one. But for this particular instance here, though, talk about how he wants to get rid of the Electoral College because Hillary beat Trump by a slim margin or whatever. Explain to me how getting rid of the Electoral College, Mark, would have helped you keep Trump out of office this time when he won the popular vote straight out in a landslide. Explain that one to me, number one. I mean, seriously.
Lost your mind.
And then number two, he ran off to Blue Sky and got rid of X because he said all the MAGA tweets were like hateful and stuff. Or were they speaking facts and liberal and logic and common sense, and you didn't like it, and they were trying to point you out on your BS, and so you just decided to leave? Which one was it?
So
I mean, just say it. I mean,
it's so sad because
if it doesn't go along with their narrative, it's considered hate speech now in a lot of ways, and that's been the way it is in the world in general. But Mark Hamill just again showing his embarrassment. But apparently we also got Joe Biden. He is continuing to pardon folks. He's now set to pardon Pfizer and Moderna through the end of 2029. Gee, I wonder why, because that'll take it right past Donald Trump's term. So again, just trying to hamstring the Trump administration from getting to the bottom of what's going on, even though we pretty well know by now. But here's a quick little segment from Fox News explaining this.
Another move to hamstring the MAGA agenda. Joe Biden's Department of Health and Human Services just extended the liability shield for COVID vaccine makers through the end of, we'll let you guess, 2029, the year that Trump will leave office. What are they shielding manufacturers from if these vaccines are so safe?
Plus, HHS's vaccine injury compensation program still doesn't cover injuries from the COVID vaccine. However, a different little-known government program can, but it's being slow-walked. Of the more than 13,000 claims sent into the program alleging injury or death from the COVID vaccine or another COVID treatment, fewer than 3,500 have decisions.
And of those decisions, 18 claims have been compensated. 3,373 have been denied.
So again, just in time for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to come in there and try to figure out if there's anything going on with these vaccines, Joe Biden said, nope, they're not going to be held liable until after Trump's term is over.
I'm going to say this. If anybody takes another COVID vaccine, it's on you. Like, I can't believe there are still people getting them.
All I know is nobody who did not take the vaccine regrets that decision.
No,
Only those who took it regret that decision right now. And it may not have happened to you yet. Let's hope and pray it doesn't to a lot of people who did take it and all the boosters.
I regret it.
There are definitely cases out there that it may not be as safe as you might think coming down the line in the future. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's sad. Joe Biden this week also commuted. What's that?
It may not be safe. Clearly, it's not safe if they're being protected.
Yeah, there's something at least going on. Yeah.
I mean, if that doesn't tell you, I don't know what will. Because we just said it, but I don't know. I feel the urge to reiterate it. But if it was so good and it worked efficiently and effectively and everything, then why do they need to be pardoned or protected?
Oh, that did they? I don't know if it's. I think it's still a thing where they don't necessarily have to legally tell you what's in said vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even know what you put in your body, and they won't tell you because they got liability or no liability, I guess. But yeah, so it's just yeah. This week, Joe Biden also commuted sentences for 37 inmates on death row. He said, in quote, in good conscience, I cannot stand back and let a new administration resume executions that I halted. So you remember the outrage from the media when Donald Trump pardoned his son-in-law's father, or when he pardoned 3 military officers accused of war crimes? Well, Joe Biden just commuted the sentences of several child murderers, cop killers, and human scum who murdered members of our military. Joe Biden could go F himself, as far as I'm concerned. Because in good. I'm sorry, you do certain atrocities, you should not be afforded your next breath, and not only that, it's taxpayer funded next breath at that, Matt. So it costs us so much money to keep these people alive.
See,
so yeah,
this is the backup plan.
How about we focus on releasing people of minor crimes, like people that are in prison because of weed, and in most states, I believe, if not all, weed is legal. Let's release them.
I don't think it's all yet, but.
Yeah, but in most states, and there's still people serving a sentence, even though in that state it is legal. I
Yeah.
think they should be released.
Yeah, I'll disagree with that. So
Yep.
we'll see if that changes
No.
too. But yeah, that's just stupid. So now apparently rumblings of Democrats pulling an insurrection are mounting. Here's one quick fellow here online who's saying that they have to show up in force on Inauguration Day to stop Donald Trump from taking office.
I want to just leave this short. It's 4 minutes. We'll do this before 5. Guys, don't forget, it's we the people, okay? We have executive order coming out 13848, right? It's going to be implemented. It's been out. Donald Trump helped create it. And it's going to come back to bite him in the ass because what it does is it says how we have to proceed when we realize that there has been outside interference in our elections. There definitely has been.
Back with that outside interference stuff.
They're going to reveal that on the 20th.
They just won't let that one die.
Because 45 days from November 6th brings us to December 20th. Is 6 days from today. So this coming Friday. So have a great weekend.
Move on.
Just show up in Washington and have this guy step down. The 3% rule states that if you have 3% of a group of people's population, 3% of a particular population, if they gather in mass, they can change everything. So we have 330 million Americans. 10% of that is 33 million. And what's a third of that? 11 million. 11 million of us have to show up on Washington, D.C. on January 20th and have this guy step down. He'll see 11 million people. Talk about a crowd. He'll have a coronary and he'll have to step down. We got to do it. And we can't depend on the people out west. God bless. But for those of us here in New Jersey.
So if 11 million people show up, he thinks that Donald Trump's just going to step down. I hate to break it to you. I don't think that's how that works, brother. Just saying. So, but you can think that all you want. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But remember,
11 million people do show up because
Again, he won the popular vote. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I don't. And thank God he did, because if he didn't, they'd just be going on this whole thing about, oh, he didn't actually win the majority of the country, that sort of shit that they ran with for 4 years.
Yeah.
So glad he did. Otherwise, we'd have even more pushback. But remember, it's not an insurrection when Democrats do it. That's different, if you know what I'm saying. But more concerning than that, publications are now printing intentions to stop Donald Trump from taking an office. This headline from The Hill. The Hill posted an article pushing for Congress to block Donald Trump from taking office using Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, the so-called insurrection clause, which would disqualify any public servant to hold office if they were part of an insurrection, if voted by 2/3 of both chambers of Congress. Remember, Jamie Raskin has talked about this in the past and gotten a little bit of hot water by certain people online for bringing that up. Here's the video of him talking about how they have to stop Trump on January 6th.
Efficient, because what can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress. So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody and civil war conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job.
So again, he's insinuating or just flat out saying insurrection. Let's use this insurrection clause and keep him out of office. But I hate to tell you, nobody cited the Constitution when the president was found to have dementia. Nobody cited the Constitution when the vice president was made the candidate without anyone voting for it in a primary. Nobody cited the Constitution when the border was opened and left open for years. Nobody cited the Constitution in 2020 when the leader of the free world was banned from social media. Nobody cited the Constitution when Biden ignored both Congress and the Supreme Court. Nobody cited the Constitution when we, the people, said no more for Ukraine. And nobody cited the Constitution at all in these cases, period. So I'm sorry, Democrats, don't you dare cite the Constitution now to steal another election from Donald Trump. Seriously. I mean, just because you're unhappy about it. By the way, what insurrection are we talking about here? January 6th wasn't an insurrection. It was a riot that was instigated by federal agents and Capitol Police. We've shown the footage here on the channel. Trump was never charged with a or found guilty of insurrection. Keep that in mind. Never charged or found guilty of insurrection. He was impeached, but he was also acquitted by Congress because there wasn't enough votes to convict, hence not disqualified. And the January 6th Unselect Committee knew all this and chose to destroy all evidence that showed the contrary. This is desperation by Democrats and the deep state. All Trump did was tell his supporters to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. He never told his supporters to riot at the Capitol or commit an insurrection. Not to mention, he won the popular vote in a landslide in this election in 2024. If this happens and they try to remove Donald Trump via this BS, this will be an actual insurrection, subverting the will of the American people. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. There will be another civil war if they do this. So keep it up. Try it, Jamie Raskin. Try to invoke that insurrection clause, which, again, I've just laid out. He was never convicted of. Period. Acquitted, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, try it. F around and find out, as they say, right? To end the show on a light note, Donald Trump has his checkbook out, apparently, going into his new second term here in office, and he's looking to purchase all of North America, it seems. Here is an Amazon meme, basically, where he's looking at the Canadian, the country of Canada there. He's looking at Greenland and the Panama Canal that Miranda mentioned earlier. Do you know much more about that? I haven't heard a whole lot about the Panama Canal.
Trump talked about Panama in his first term a little bit, and I think there's a clause or something in it that if China gets any control over it, that it comes back to us. And
it's kind of like the Spider-Man rights. You don't make a movie in a certain amount of time, it defaults back to us.
It's exactly
Greenland.
like Spider-Man rights.
Yeah, that's what we're going with. Yeah.
The thing with Greenland, I think the seed vault is in Greenland, and it's like a matter of national security that, we have access to things up there. So I don't know. And Canada, well, Canada is just Canada, so they need all the help they can get.
Yeah. So he says he's going to take back the Panama Canal, purchase Greenland, and as well as make Canada the 51st state. So this right here could be what the United States of America could look like soon, potentially.
I wish it was warmer in these places.
Yeah, no joke. For sure. Definitely be worth more traveling to in some of these places.
But Greenland is very beautiful. We've seen
that's
a
what I've
lot
heard.
of countryside videos. But
See, I always heard Greenland was full of ice and Iceland was very nice. I don't know which one's true.
Yeah.
Maybe it's I don't know. I just heard
no, that's the truth of it. Greenland is very
okay.
Yeah,
so
they were trying to deceive the people.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. Time will tell if this ends up coming to fruition. You had that with Puerto Rico down there. America's maybe looking to expand a bit. I don't know how all that will shake out. It looks like we might have all of North America except for that pesky, Mexico down there. We may have to work out a deal. I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so that's all I got for tonight. What do you guys think about everything that's going on?
I seen this video where Australia fits like right up. It's part of America or whatever. Like it was so weird, and I was like, yeah, they got all the weird shit. Like when it broke off or whatever, and it drifted to where it drifted to, it took all the crazy and deadly shit with it. Let it stay there. Okay.
All the gators and kangaroo kicking and all that stuff. Yeah,
but we watched a video on Australia a couple weeks ago.
Well, Brandon, I sent you a video tonight or earlier today. I think it was on Facebook. You may not have gotten it, but it was about a job. It was cranberries. I don't know. Did I send it?
Cranberries. Hold on, fam.
You ain't gonna leave me at work, are you? Like,
I
need some friends.
It pays pretty good. Oh no, I didn't see it.
No, I don't see no cranberries.
Well, anyway, they use wolf spiders to eat the cranberries or the pests from the cranberries. So when it's picking season, they will flood the field and the cranberries will float, and you go out and you take a rake or whatever and you skim the top. Problem is the spiders usually end up in the water too. And this job, like I said, it pays pretty damn good, like $150,000 a year. But you could possibly get bit by one of these damn spiders.
That's why you get paid a lot. Yeah.
Eric would never do it.
Yeah,
I'd say burn it, but if they get into the water, they're going to do much good.
Do it. I'm just saying, no amount of money can get me in a pool of water with a bunch of spiders.
I'd rather be in a water with snakes, and I don't like either one.
You have to pay me maybe $10 billion.
One time. I ain't doing it every day.
I don't think that's enough money for me. I'm too terrified of it.
Yeah.
Fear factor. There's no way I could have ever, went past the second
Well,
round.
like I get me a rubber suit and.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah,
full on like hazmat.
It don't matter.
Not like an anaconda. It can't just wrap around me.
Like the kid from the Christmas Story. That's how I'd be suited up. Like I'd be covered in layers.
It still don't matter. It could touch my face.
You get a suit. You put a suit on
Even
your
if
face.
I can't move, and it's like
you could be like in a
there ain't
scuba
no
suit.
way.
See, but that's worse. If you can't move and it's just crawling towards you and you can't,
I just fall and they fall with me. So, man, you're gonna give me nightmares.
And I do have the video, Eric. I'll send it. I'll send it to you. I have the video.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. See what you're
Wait,
talking
of
about.
this? Man, I don't know if I want to watch this before I go to bed.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
send it
bye.
to you.
We'll do it here real quick.
Who's that, buddy?
What are you sending it to me on?
On Facebook Messenger. Yeah.
Let me pull that up here, and I want to have nightmares.
That's wild, son.
I mean, I you don't understand. Especially like big spiders. I can't stand them.
Wolf spiders aren't like terribly huge, but you have like everybody. Wolf spiders, they take care of like other spiders and a lot of bugs that you don't see much.
Yeah,
of,
I don't really mind wolf spiders,
crickets, and all that shit. So like, they're very useful.
They're just big as fuck.
I tell you right now, the moment he sees one picture or the one part of this, he's out. I promise you. All right, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
And in October, growers flood the fields, causing the cranberries to float, making them easier to pick.
$150K to pick some cranberries? Somebody give me an application stat!
However, there's a disturbing occurrence associated with this process.
Disturbing? I don't care. You know what? I don't care what it is. I got to put food on the table, right? And it's paying $150K. We go to Olive Garden every night.
Many farmers utilize
Come again.
Many farmers utilize wolf spiders as natural pesticides to ward off harmful insects. When the fields are flooded, these spiders may end up in the water and seek refuge by climbing onto the cranberry pickers, potentially resulting in painful bites. One farmer disclosed that during job interviews, the first question they ask is whether candidates are afraid of spiders.
Oh, Jesus, fix it. You had me at $150K, hook, line, and sinker, and then you lost me at the word spot. Spider. What happened to putting food on the table no matter what, Kevin? Yeah, well, I'll take it back. All the way back to the unemployment line.
Sir.
Bad have to hold off on those Olive Garden nights for a little while longer. I have to stick to that ramen, amen type of diet. If you is it ramen or ramen?
They got spiders in it, so I don't care what you call it.
Wolf spiders.
Not only that, those spiders look like they had like were those eggs or something?
Yeah,
Those were baby spiders.
They were what?
Baby spiders.
Those are baby spiders.
You mean I have to do with the big spider and the baby spiders crawling into crevices and stuff? No.
That's right.
Did you not see in the video where the guy was walking through the water all of the spiders that were literally on his clothes?
Yes.
Oh.
Hey, and each one of those turns into one of those.
Like, play it back. You'll see where he's walking through the water, and you'll see the spiders attached to him. Yeah, you don't need the sound for this part. I'll tell you when to pause it.
Oh,
right there.
Those little things, those spiders.
Yeah,
I just thought they were cranberries.
If you go back, you'll see them. They're just
right there.
Yeah.
Those don't look like spiders to me, though.
Are they?
On his leg?
They're
Yeah.
probably leaves and stuff.
They're
too.
probably maybe
Like
right.
that there. I don't know if I was. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't like the sound of it.
But
Or the
then, I
look
mean,
of
it's
it,
not
or-
like that's not possible though. Like the
that that
Yeah, there's the baby spiders.
Yeah, those are all baby spiders. I mean, they are kind of big.
I don't even like looking at that.
Wolf spiders can be really big.
Aaron, come on, 150,000, bro. You wouldn't. Eric,
Nah, you can keep
it. You
Most
can't
wolf
use my
spiders are
line.
like half the size of my hand.
No, I will use your line. You know,
It's copyright infringement.
Ashley and I had this conversation about me, possibly joining a trade, and we were looking at like HVAC and stuff like that. And I said that I go into one room where the furnace is, and there's a spider. I'll be like, well, hold on, I'll be right back. Coming back in full protective gear, and be like sweeping the place before I even touch the furnace.
Oh.
Bug spray and everything. Be like, no. They will think I'm insane, but I'll
Eric,
get
150K, bro. Come on, man.
No.
You're shucking
You're gonna have to at least
cranberries,
double
brother.
it.
You're straining cranberries, brother.
For a whole year, though? No. Like if Aaron said maybe a one-time payment of $1 million.
That's
Maybe I
wild.
consider it. Or like a one-time. No, I'm not working a whole year to get 150. Kidding me? Cheapskates? I don't think so. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth the lifetime of trauma and therapy I'm gonna have to go through. Okay,
Listen, once you get bit by a spider one time, it's gonna feel that same way.
It's not about this. It's not about the bite. It's about the creep factor. Can't do it. It's about
He'd
my
be the one
sanity.
that, like, months later, still.
Do you hear how high pitched he was screaming? Go up about 10 octaves. That'll be me.
The first time a spider comes out, like you get on. Oh, it's the
Unless
one
I
you
turn
don't see.
into Spider-Man after I get bit, it ain't happening.
I'm legit getting cold chills. Freaking
Like,
see this right here?
Be on your back, you don't know it's there. So somebody goes, "Hey, there's a spider on you."
This is my natural spider killer right here.
Or if you go to kill it, and then all the babies, you ever see those videos where like they go to step on a spider, and all of a sudden just a bunch of babies go flying out from underneath?
Oh, have you
Crazy
ever
work.
smushed a nest and have them come out and start crawling on whatever you were smushing them with? Oh, that bothers me. I hate that. Oh, I've witnessed that in person, and oh boy, it's terrifying to witness.
Oh boy.
He said, "Oh boy." Not a fan.
Aaron's definitely on that Robitussin.
Oh boy.
He said, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, I guess we're going to get out of here tonight. Thank you guys for watching the show, episode number 34 of the Dragon's Den podcast. Probably be back next week for episode number 35. But hey, if you're checking us out for the very first time, please click that like, click that subscribe button. Don't forget to comment down below. And don't forget to follow us on Rumble, YouTube, my ex, all of our links and stuff are in the description box below. Please go check us out on all those, by the way, as well. And until next week's video, guys, I hope you guys have a happy and safe new year, and we'll see you all in 2025.
Night.
Later.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Yay.